So how's everybody's week been?
Cold.
It's been alright.
Yeah, but it snowed like heavy the other day, and I was out and about with my girlfriend, and I got stuck in the sudden downpour of snow. Laz, I think you know what I'm talking about.
And in the northeast mid-Atlantic area, you inevitably will be caught in a downpour of snow. Out and about.
Laz, you're cutting in and out.
That was me taking actual breaks.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't planned.
Okay. Yeah. As you are in Alabama, you don't get snow. You get rain, though, right? Like crazy rain?
What was it, last Friday? We got like an inch, if we were lucky. It lasted a good, like, hour on the ground or something like that. That's snow for us. So, yeah. We usually get rain. It's usually wet.
Yeah.
And then if it does decide to get chilly, we get ice. So that's fantastic.
Listen, being from New Jersey, I know how to drive in ice. My on the way home, it drops, and a second snow gets like crazy, people freak out and drive like assholes. And I had to hit my brakes, and my tail end started skidding out, and I just turned into it, and she was freaking out a little bit, and I'm like, babe, relax, I got this. I've been driving in snow all my life. Des? Nope.
Hello. Still alive.
Okay. I don't know what's going on with this. Is Skype acting weird for you guys?
No?
No, I didn't hear. Nobody was talking at the time.
Yeah. There's just a silence.
Yeah.
Call to silence. It happens in conversations sometimes.
No, I was making sure my Skype wasn't messing up because windows keep popping up. So, Laz, thank you for supporting us and offering up all kinds of interesting and awesome questions. So, you have the floor until you have to leave, sir. Ask away. We can talk about whatever. You got control for this half of the show.
Alright, so got to start out with the fun stuff. Since Tuesday gave us some new fun Destiny 2 stuff, it gave us Masterwork. I haven't had much time to play it yet, but in the couple of hours I've been in there, I've gotten to glance at the weapons I have with the potential to upgrade. I've gotten one Masterwork to drop, and not gonna lie, I felt thrilled, but not like crazy, out of this world, jump up and down excited. So I guess my first question is, how many Masterwork weapons have you guys been able to acquire, and do you feel any excitement from getting them?
Des, you want me to take this one? I can answer first.
If you want, you can go ahead.
Okay. I've gotten a total of none. But I did get the Helmsing 14 this week, so I am good.
There we go.
Let's see. I did have a miniature hoard of redeemables and materials and tokens and crap. All in all, let's see. Out of the 700 and something gunsmith materials, I was able to get 2 from the gunsmith. And I do believe they were both rocket launchers. So yeah, those were dismantled. Let's see. From the EDZ, I had like 3 or so hundred tokens. Well, I want to say it was like 10 to 12 packages total, and I got like 4 from there. Again, mostly like swords and rocket launchers. And I was able to get, hilariously, the one hand cannon that I didn't think actually existed from the Vanguard, the Dateless Code. That dropped as a Masterwork. So, like, never saw it drop before, and I was just like, here's a Masterwork. I was like, oh, okay. And I got, like, a Masterwork Scathe Lock that I was able to keep. with the help of Dan Finity, longtime show friend, I was chilling out of his chat room and Thursday. He's like, I'm going to do some raid here. He's like, I haven't actually finished that. So I asked, what are you, got anything you're doing right now? He's like, no. So he helped me finish out the Leviathan.
Very cool.
And both of the drops I actually got from Leviathan were Masterworks. Were both of the actual weapon drops. Sadly, one of them was a Mob Justice, so that got dismantled. But I did get a Masterworks Sins of the Past, which is nifty.
What's the masterwork on it? Was it
what is the masterwork on that one? I can't even remember. Crap. And of course, like, none of my daemon crap is up. So it's going to take Chrome like 2 years to actually load up. Ishtar, what you got for me, baby?
I mean, I can say right now I am super excited for them. I do like how they add a little bit of RNG, a little bit more RNG to the system, I should say.
Definitely.
There we go. Sins of the Past. Does it show up here? My masterwork in Sins of the Past is in handling. So it's a 10 to handling, which isn't too bad. It does speed up the scope in time, which is not bad for a non-tracking rocket launcher. And I think I even re-rolled the Scathe lock to get something. Yeah, 10 in reload speed on the Scathe lock, which isn't too bad, but Scathe lock is definitely, like, I've been running around with it in some strikes, and I am like, after just screwing around with this Scathe lock, I mean, at a minimum, I was able to produce like 14 orbs of light in a strike.
Jesus.
If as long as I can like get the kills in good, I was looking at like upwards of like 24 and 26 orbs of light. And the great thing about the Masterworks is they drop orbs of light for you as well. So you get the orbs as well as your teammates, but it is so much fun to freaking like run a heroic strike, and you're just like, a wave of ads pop in, and you're just like going nuts, like pop an orb here. There does seem to be like a cooldown time for them, but I like them. I like them a lot. Like I said, the random bat roll is a nice addition for like chasing and such, that you can kind of fine tune a weapon and how it feels just a little. Nothing usually too crazy, because I think my Daedalus code actually got like a stability, and it only gives like a +5 to stability. So I mean, there's some differences in the stat bonuses and such, but I like it. I'm liking it, and yeah, I'm actually getting excited to see like that new frame pop up. I mean, one time I really did get excited was with Mob Justice. I let out a nice little oh, well, crap. All right. So, but yeah, I'm liking them so far. I'm liking them.
I think you're the same. Was collecting all of the amplifiers, Larian cultures for the Soul Pariah 6, and it dropped as a masterwork.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
I'm still doing that for the submachine gun. So.
Yeah, that's the one it is. Which when it popped in, my wife walked into the room and she goes, "Why are you using a staple gun?" Good point.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Credit given.
Touche. Yeah.
They seem fun. I think. Like you said, it's the RNG.
Yeah.
That gets you working toward.
So, Des, you broke down a fair few, I could say, right?
Well, like I said, I have 10 Masterwork cores, and I had 13 because I was able to reroll the Scathe Lock. But so yeah, I have a few. I held on to them after I got rid of my Scrooge McDuck cord,
Yeah.
or my mini Scrooge McDuck cord. I held on to them because I didn't know after that how rare they'd be. And I'm glad I did because I still just have the 10. I mean, one of my Lost Prophecy weapons did drop as a masterwork, and it's amazing because it was the sidearm this week. And so yeah, that's. I was so happy to see that. But yeah, like I said, they're definitely rare. I mean, they're a thing to get. It's an effort.
People wanted a grind, and they got a grind.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then they complain about it.
Yes.
And then they're like, this is too much of a grind for me. Hey. I always say it. You can't call the tornado and then tell it to go home.
There you go.
Once the tornado shows up, it's going to fuck some shit up first, alright?
Yeah.
You got to pay the piper. You can't summon Shenron from Dragon Ball, collect all the Dragon Balls and summon Shenron and then go, you know what? I changed my mind and leave. Not going to happen.
I'd like to rethink about my wish. Can you come back in 5-10 minutes maybe? I don't know what I want.
Yeah. Nope, can't do that. He's going to get mad and mess everything up. By the way, I've been watching a lot of Dragon Ball, if you haven't noticed.
But even though that kind of does happen sort of in Super.
Are you serious?
Sort of. I mean, it's an inverse issue that Shenron apparently has a time limit on how long he can come out. But the people were fighting about some wish, and Beerus had showed up, and Shenron is actually extremely terrified of Beerus. So he's sitting there, and it's like, I have to go, and Beerus is like, no, you're going to stay. And he tries as long as he can, but he ends up having to vanish because they're bickering over who gets a wish. But yeah, something like that kind of happens.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's kind of hilarious, but yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get why do you complain when they give you what you want? You're like Veruca Salt from Willy Wonka.
Must I remind you of re-rolling in year 1? Or 2? No, yeah, those were year 1. D1, vanilla. What was Dark Below or House of Wolves that they introduced re-rolling to Iron Banner?
It was House of Wolves, right?
Yeah, and then everyone complained and moaned because all you had to do was get one drop and you can pretty much brute force your perfect roll out of it, and there's nothing to get anymore. Legitimately, all of the complaints you see about D2 were already done in D1.
Oh yeah.
I mean, these arguments are played out and done, and that's why I try and give them as little attention as possible.
Oh, definitely.
Because again, we went through 3 years of these little squibs and squabs, so it's I really don't care. Play my video game. I mean, I respect people's opinion, and as I've said before, please don't have a dumb opinion. But other than that, I'm gonna play my video game, and I'm a grind to get these freaking Lost Prophecy weapons because you want to talk about freaking grind.
That's what I'm saying. They gave us all what we wanted.
But I can't complain because again, I'm brute forcing my way through the Lost Prophecies. I'm on my last one this week because they threw in that extra one. The what's it called? Another verse.
Oh, the Perfect Paradox?
Yes.
You mean the shotgun that I will be, that's what I'm going for? That's my shadow price right now?
Oh.
I will run through this game. I will do whatever it takes in this game to get what I want. And I want that goddamn shotgun. I'm wearing his helmet. I'm going to use his shotgun.
But yeah. So I'm technically one, because like I said, last week I was able to knock out all Lost Prophecies before the cast. But that extra one, it was hefty. it was a bit hefty, like a little heftier than the other Lost Prophecies for sure.
Really?
But oh yeah, it's actually got 2 stages to it.
Oh man.
So yeah, you got to go through 2 boxes. But yeah, that's. Oof. And then I got the last one, which is the one I cared the least about, Lost Prophecy Verse 2, because I think that's the primary SMG.
The 900 rounds a minute one?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so kinetic. Jesus. I was hoping by now I'd get rid of D1 terminology, but it's not quite one to go. But yeah, the kinetic SMG was the one, like I said, I was least interested in, so it's like, yeah, I'll do you last.
This is just Soul Pariah with this energy.
Yeah.
Second one I've done.
Yeah, Soul Pariah is pretty nice.
It looks good.
It does, and it's got that it's got the Omelon tree to it, so it's got phase magazine.
There we go. Yeah.
I like that perk.
I do too.
I like that perk a whole lot, actually.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool.
I mean, because, like I said before, like Soul Pariah is the one. Actually, I'm looking at a dim right now. Yeah, this is like the one. Because if I can track down, my out of options, dim has a nifty little feature that shows what most people, like what a majority of people use, like perk-wise on a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And for out of options, it is phase magazine. Where's my stochastic variable? Where are you? There you are. And same thing for stochastic variable. Sets 2 Omelon type SMGs that most people use phase magazine. Oh, and there's phosphorus. Same thing. So that's like all 3 of them, practically. There might be one more, but it doesn't really matter for this point. But yet, Soul Pariah is interesting because it has the options of ricochet rounds, which, as we know, pushes back damage fall off. And it already has a pretty beastly range. Probably actually get a little better because I think I'm on phase magazine. But yeah, and Soul Pariah, its most popular, is ricochet rounds. Which, like I said, I've been tempted to try that myself because that thing, even at 600 RPMs, is like so stable. It's a little ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It does have pretty good ability for most of the stuff. Compared to most of the stuff.
Yeah. It's nice. It's quite nice. Yeah. But I gotta say, Perfect Paradox.
Mm-hmm.
You're definitely gonna want it, man. Grind. I'm telling everybody, grind for that thing. Grind. It is if anyone's familiar with like the dry rot from D1, and because it was like the fastest firing, and then if you can get it with full auto, it was It was like almost as fast as the Fourth Horseman, apparently. I mean, not quite, but it was. It was the fastest fire rating, like shotgun that could roll with full auto. That's kind of what Perfect Paradox feels like fire rate wise. But my God, can it put a hurt on things? And Rampage? You kidding me? You run up to a yellow bar, you just pop a couple of his red bar buddies, and then you just lay into him with the rest of the clip. It's like done. Yeah, it's so fun to use. I have not used it in PvP yet, because thanks to the leaving of the laser tag, I've finally been able to like pursue what feels good in the Crucible now.
Can we all agree that laser tag was fun, though?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You didn't think that was a blast?
It was the thing. It happened. It's over.
Oh man, I can tell you right now, permanent thing.
No, you don't.
Just that gun?
No,
Oh, that sounds fun.
no, you don't. Because you weren't saying that in D1. When Thorn was on top, when Last Word was on top. You weren't saying, oh, please, yes, give us a playlist. Actually, yeah, you probably were saying, give us a playlist that's just this.
I was.
But still, it's not because it was fun.
I thought this was fun.
Yeah, but this was fun, but you already knew this was limited. I think that offset a lot of people's opinions about Prometheus Lens because Bungie leaned into it because it was limited. They already had a fix coming in, like, very quick. People that did like it, I think, liked it because it was limited. I mean, yes, it was a refreshing change of pace from the norm, but it was limited. And thus, it could be here, it could leave without people getting tired of it, or at least the vast majority of people getting tired of it.
There's still people using it. I got killed a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
Prometheus.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely people, there's a lot of people. It still seems to actually do really good in PvE. I'm going to say that. Because it still pretty much puts a pretty decent hurt on things in PvE. But PvP, yeah, I've actually ran a match and was shot at against it. And I lived. And it was a team shot. So, yeah, it's definitely not what it was. But then again, Bungie even went as far to explain that when they fixed it, they kind of intentionally put it into the dirt.
Because they're going to go back over it later?
Yeah, exactly. They wanted a quick fix to get rid of the problem as fast as possible, so they put it into the dirt. But this is not where the Prometheus Lens is going to end up. They are going to look at it. I think they mentioned January, which isn't that far away. Like, when January? I don't know. I don't work at Bungie. Screw you. But yeah, they did mention that it will be properly fixed. And it's not too good right now.
Yeah, because it's hitting for 25 to the body, 25 to the head, and 12 to the body.
Yeah, that's definitely not the damage numbers that we had.
No, none at all, actually. You can be like, oh, this is terrible. Where did you go?
The other difference was because they nerfed it into the dirt, as you said. There's actually people using power weapons, and one of the things embarrassingly that popped up on my death screen was killed by the colony. That shocked me a little.
The colony's nasty, man.
Yeah, I was about to say, did you? Because the colony is a beast. It really is.
Now, I don't see it. Oh yeah, I mean, I don't have one, but I've just seen. Thankfully, well, I have actually played against them, and it's not easy, but it's dodgeable. But yeah, like watching that little freaking spider drone, like chase after the freaking the people, like that freaking old oh my god, what's his name? Crap.
The old.
It was like a dude. It was like one of the guys from 3 Men and a Baby. Paul Selleck. Or no, not Paul. Tom Selleck. Thank you. Tom Selleck. And he was in a movie that had these mechanical spider drones. It was like an older movie. But yeah, I can't remember like exactly what the movie was, but it was like terrifying because they were like freaking drones and like latch onto you and like inject you with like some nasty drug or something and murder you. And yeah, it was, yeah.
That's the rated M mature version of Destiny where the spider drone does exactly that.
Yeah.
Yeah, those little things are nasty though, man. But yeah, just seeing them like just skitter along and just poof, there goes a body. It's like, I want one.
Would that movie, Des, be the 1984 cult classic Runaway?
It could be. It could very well be.
It looks like it is. Because I just thank you, Google, for being everywhere and everywhere we need you to be at the right time. But
oh yeah, that's it. Because I see a picture of like this bad dude, or the bad guy. Like one of the pictures is the bad guy getting like stabbed by one of his own spiders or something. But yeah. This is it. Yeah, Runaway is definitely it. Yeah, that was a blast. Just remembering crap like that.
I can actually aim the thing to get a kill with it.
Yeah, sadly, by the time I get one, everyone's going to learn how to dodge it. So.
Les, do you have another question for us, or a topic you want to hear about? Because
Yeah, there's actually something lore related that everyone's getting super excited about. I'm sure you guys read the TWA, but there's going to be a digital comic.
Yes. Yeah, actually, I didn't even have to read the TWAB. That was all over my Twitter feed.
There you go.
There's a leak.
It's a good thing for Bungie to do. Not only because it's free, but because everyone's kind of been clamoring for. Well, the lore crowd's been clamoring for something for not in depth, but something in between Grimoire cards and what we have now. Weapons and armor kind of giving us the lore, if not from stories. This is definitely, it looks like it's a good start. But I assume you guys are going to read it.
yes, because it's going to be free, which is also awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Free is definitely a word in my vocabulary. And point B, it's, well, I didn't read too much about it, because, of course, I did not read the TWAB, because I've been, it might as well be a meme at this point in time. But, yeah, I did read, I mean, it's covering Osiris, but if I'm not mistaken, it's like covering around the time he was actually exiled?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be, Fall of Osiris, so it's about the time they kick them out of the city.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's going to be... You see, that's kind of what I was hoping. I mean, I like the idea, but I'm also a little bitter, because this is kind of what I was hoping a little more story-wise would come out from the campaign for Curse of Osiris. I mean, I'm definitely happy that they're branching off, especially with something a little more than the Grimoire, right, but still potentially with the same. Yeah, it's like, why couldn't they do this with the Book of Sorrows? You know, that could have been cool. But the Book of Sorrows format really worked out for how they did it. But I think this is really is an interesting. It'll be an interesting step to see how they further expand it, because of course there's plenty still of legends and mysteries for them to go over that they can make entire webcomic series about, for certain.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the Dredgenure story.
I was gonna say, would you say Tolan, Dredgenure,
God.
Shax, Saladin, Cade, everyone? Period. Everyone. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pick a character. Yes, it's awesome. That's how it's gonna be.
Knowing this community, if they made a webcomic about the Sweeper Bot, it would be successful.
Yes.
I mean, I'm just saying, knowing this community, I mean, you could literally pick anybody. Sweeper Bot?
All right.
Low-key, though.
I'll read it. Yeah, sure.
Low-key, I want the Sweeper Bot emote.
Oh, yes.
I want the Sweeper Bot emote. I want that emote. Because it is hilarious. Because sadly, I couldn't join in, but there were quite a few heroic strikes that by the end of them, there's the carcass of the boss, and two of the people would surround the boss's dead body and start the Sweeper Bot emote.
Oh.
And it's I wish I could join that.
So it's a Sweeper Bot and drop the mic, right?
And
yeah, selfie.
Oh, selfie
Which,
though. Selfie does
I
sound
want
cool.
selfie. Because apparently it actually moves your camera to the neon phone, so you're actually watching. It's as if you're actually taking a selfie.
It's incredibly aggravating if you're not good at angling, getting the right angle to try to get a group shot. Because
Yeah. So it's like a real life selfie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Before the selfie became an art form. You go back 2 years or something, and then look at everyone's selfies, and it's that I feel your pain now.
Yeah. So guys, breaking news, I just got my first ever masterwork. and it's an Atlanta D with plus 10 handling.
Oh.
90% of mine actually get handling for some reason. I'm wondering if that's like the safe bet.
Yeah, for a submachine gun, handling is the safe bet. Yeah.
I mean, it's not busted or anything. It's just there.
Plus, if you make submachine guns too stable, good lord.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm wondering if that's like the safe random roll is handling. Because, like I said, I mean, a little stability can go a long way on an SMG. I mean, good lord, a little stability. I was hoping for stability to drop on the masterwork of the Scathe, but
Ooh.
it didn't work out that way. But it's okay because I've found, like I said, I've
It just stopped again. Okay, start it up.
But yeah, so yeah, there's been a shift there for sure.
I admittedly haven't been playing too much this week due to, I just helped my brother move across the state damn near because it's Christmas time and he wants to move about 125 miles away. I drove I think Des, I told you 200 and some.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's higher towards 3. So I'm
Been there, done that.
Oh yeah.
Because there was a point in time when I was younger. I had moved up to Illinois, the southern bit of Illinois, and I had to go back and get my stuff, and then come right back in one drive from central Alabama to the southern tip of Illinois. It's not a fun drive. I hate driving through Nashville. Absolutely despise it. It is the most confusing interstate I've seen. It's either Nashville or Memphis. It's one of those. But either way, I took 2 turns, got lost, took another 2 turns, and ended up exactly where I needed to turn to go home.
Huh.
And it's like, what the crap just happened? This is exactly where I need to be. But I took 2 wrong turns, and then another turn or 2, and got there, and it's like,
what happened?
Yeah. It's, God.
We've been here, but I'm not going to remember how I got here.
Exactly. And that was back in the day of MapQuest.
Oh, God.
Or Yahoo Maps, or whatever the crap it was that you had to print out the directions.
It was MapQuest.
Yeah, it was definitely one of them. I can't remember which one I used, but yeah, it was probably MapQuest, but yeah. Before competent GPS became, or cheap even GPS became a thing.
That's... I'm not mad at Waze these days, though. It's because it's dependent on people inputting the issues.
Yeah.
2 hours in local traffic by my job because there was a road closure and I was on Waze. Nobody updated it, so I went to go exit a route and went, oh, look at that. That's closed. Yeah, sorry, GPS, I can't go that way.
So you listen to podcasts like I listen to podcasts then?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that explains why you're like, you guys could put out a 27-hour podcast and I'll listen to every damn minute of it. That would be a world record, by the way, Des. I just want to let you know that.
I'm not advocating that. People have died from playing for 24 hours straight on video games, so 27 hours of podcasting, who the hell knows what's going to happen?
No, right? I already tell my wife, I get so... speaking of, behind the scenes and stuff, but, it's... Because, thankfully, the family, for the most part, vacates the living room whenever I record. But...
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm sorry. No. I stand corrected. The longest uninterrupted live webcast video, so I guess it would be different than a podcast, but we could just record it and stream it on Twitch, was 150 hours and 30 minutes. So that record is safe forever.
I wonder if that was Streamer House. Because, Streamer House, the way they used to work, or at least the way I understand they work, is basically they used to like leave the live stream basically going like 24/7 because there's 4 of them. So they take like an 8-hour block in shifts and they play whatever video games they want. And then, but it's like a constant like rotation though. Like I'm wondering about like that may have been them.
That would make more sense.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's because I know Twitch used to actually have a rule about long streams because of health and safety reasons.
Definitely.
Like you could actually get a temporary ban, or at least used to, you can get a temporary ban for streaming for too long. But like I said, with them being like 4 dudes that were in the same house, and it's like just them rotating. I mean, no harm because it's like what am I like?
It's like a
God,
like a TV
shows.
show, like a reality show, like Big
Yeah,
Brother,
exactly. Or
Real World, something like that.
Real World. Thank you. I was trying to think of Real World
Woo.
because it's freaking MTV. Because my mind kept wanting to go to Road Rules, and it's like, no, that's
similar
that's
because they were in a Winnebago though.
Yeah. I mean, it's similar, but it kind of. I wanted Real World because they all came into the same house.
Oh,
but
yeah.
yeah.
Pick to be taped. What was your random question, guys? Here's a surprise RNG Cast random question. What's your favorite season of fucking Real World?
I try. And
We've all watched it.
We have.
You can't see me raising my hand, but I'm raising my hand saying I have not actually seen any.
You haven't?
Ow! Congratulations, that's an achievement.
Yeah, it's been on like.
I mean, it was everywhere at one point in time.
46
Legitimately,
years almost. It survived longer than when MTV used to play music videos. Remember when they used to play music videos?
No, most people don't.
The closest thing I've seen to any kind of Real World episode was a Chappelle Show skit, which was more about like.
Oh, you mean the Mad Real World? Because that might be one of my favorite Chappelle Show skits ever.
I know, right? I know that was fantastic.
Well, you pretty much get it.
Yeah, I mean,
Honestly, you pretty much get it.
I don't know. I think probably like because of my age and the time, I think it was the Hawaii.
Yeah.
Because it was the infamous season during the time. Because MTV pretty much spent a fortune in censorship because the cast was like stripping, like skinny dipping, pretty much like 3 times an episode, and they were like naked, like it was, yeah.
They were booty butt naked all the time, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was a thing because there was a lot of blur and a lot of flesh, and it's like, So yeah, I think I definitely watched that train wreck happen for sure, like intently, because those people had special kinds of issues.
Special kinds of issues. That's the nicest way I've ever heard anybody say something like that. I get what you're trying to say too, which is what makes it so beautiful.
But yeah.
So, I got called some sort of name the other day because I'm not excited for Star Wars. I might be the only person ever.
You shut your whore mouth. Wait, what? I'm sorry?
See?
I'm cautiously optimistic.
So, have both of you seen Force Awakens then?
Yes.
Okay, so you're miles ahead of me already then.
No, I haven't seen it. I'm not going to go see it.
Oh, there we go. Never mind.
Yeah.
Well, Force Awakens, I can say this safely without spoiling anything, but it's not a bad movie. It kind of does the same thing that J.J. Abrams' first Star Trek movie did.
Oh, sure.
It gets rid of like a lot of the trope things that happen in Star Wars. Like a lot of that happens and gets out the way. You start off on a desert planet with a lone orphan. Somebody loses a hand. people falling off into endless abysses. I mean, like I said, it covers like a lot of the tropey things that happened, but it did so in a way that was kind of like the first Star Trek movie, where they did that, they got it out of the way. That way, the other two movies, they had freedom, basically. And it seems like that's what they did, but of course I have not seen the new one yet. I will, because I am a Star Wars nerd. I always will be. If I could have survived through the prequel trilogy, I can survive through this trilogy.
I don't think I can put myself through that, though.
Oh, no, like I said, I could tell you, Episode 7 is miles better than any prequel movie.
Yeah.
Miles.
I'll give you that. I would say Rogue One is better than most of the prequel movies.
That's where I would just... Well, no, yeah, Rogue One's... Okay, I didn't like Rogue One too much, but yeah, it's still better than most of the prequel movies, so yeah.
And that says a lot.
Yeah.
Because if I remember correctly, you did not like Rogue One that much.
It wasn't bad, it was just... I've seen more interesting stories come from that, like, route. Oh, yeah, and speaking of, like, Star Wars, Disney, and... Have y'all heard that basically Disney has ponied up and pretty much bought out 21st Century Fox?
Yeah, I heard that. Which means...
Disney's going to own everything at this point.
I mean...
I'm okay with that. They have Power Rangers.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
They've had Power Rangers.
I know, but now they also have Marvel.
No, actually, well, you see, that's the thing, though. They actually don't have Power Rangers. That went back to Saban.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Ah.
I mean, they still have a deal like broadcasting it on ABC or Jetix or whatever Disney-owned crap they have. But yeah, it's still it's back to a Saban production now.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like I told my wife, I'm looking forward to the next X-Men reboot.
Yes.
The reboot?
Yeah, the reboot. Because, I mean, it's only going to be the logical thing that happens because Disney now owns all the movie rights to X-Men and Fantastic Four. That was part of the deal. So...
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no, I was about to say, I mean, with this acquisition, the MCU is complete now. Because that means Disney/Marvel owns the movie right. Well, except for Spider-Man, but of course there's the Sony deal that Spider-Man is part of the MCU, but it's still a Sony production, so I don't know exactly how that works, but it works like that. But everything except for Spider-Man universe is owned, movie right-wise, by Disney/Marvel. The MCU is perfect now. They could throw in everything.
So the question that I would raise with that is, so whatever they're going to call the next X-Men they were working on, Dark Phoenix or something.
I'm kind of hoping, sort of, kind of. I mean, I doubt it's going to happen, but it would be really awesome if they could somehow fit it in. Like, if they could skip a reboot and somehow fit this movie, because I mean, X-Men have dealt with a myriad of like dimension hopping and dimension altering enemies. One of which, Mojo, from Mojoverse. I mean, you introduce someone like him, and it can be extremely easy to take the current storyline and timeline and just kind of merge it in to the current universe. But I don't know, because I was actually kind of looking forward to this Dark Phoenix movie, because there were rumors that they were actually introducing the Shi'ar and, you know, what do they call him? Leandra's like personal guard or whatever with the gladiator and crap.
Starjammers?
No, that was Scott's father in Pirates. But yeah, I mean, but that's the thing, because I mean, with this, like, I can only foresee a reboot's going to happen because that's just the way my mind is. But I'm not going to mind horribly because, again, everything can be perfect. I mean, you can now have, just like I was telling my wife, you can now have, like, Peter Parker hanging out with Johnny Storm like he did in the comics in a Fantastic Four movie or something. You can have, you know, the Shi'ar, the Kree, the Skrull with the X-Men and the Avengers or Thor or whatever, like, working together.
Right.
The only thing that's going to be difficult, and I completely understand it, because the man needs a break, like, just literally needs a break, is having to replace Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
I mean, yeah, but he did Logan. He did his closing scene. You know what I mean? Like
I know
he put that character to bed. I think personally. I mean, I
well,
as much as I am a Daredevil fan, I am a Logan fan as well. That movie was fantastic.
It was, but I mean, it's of course going to be difficult to accept anybody else playing Logan because he did such a wonderful job, like despite everything. Which by saying despite everything, I mean his height, because Wolverine in the comics was practically a midget.
Well, yeah, that goes without saying.
I think he was what, like 5'4" or something in the comics.
Yeah, that's why they called
I'm
him
like super small.
That's why his name was Wolverine, because he was short and scary.
But yeah, I mean, on one hand, like I would love for, because you know they'd be like Marvel would be able to talk Hugh Jackman probably into taking the role a few more times, but also the dude's like breaking into what is like 50s almost by now.
I'm pretty sure he's like 51.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sure like because he's been spending like the better part of freaking 2 decades keeping his body in utmost top like he kept every time he's been Wolverine, his body's been getting better and better and better condition. Give the man a break. let the man live and eat. Good God.
What does this eat you speak of? He eats chicken breasts and he eats turkey breasts and lettuce wraps. That's what he ate when he was fucking Wolverine. I should know. I researched that motherfucking workout extensively and was like, "There's no way. That's
yeah.
That's not human." Because he's like 51 and he's just super shredder.
I know, right? It's a little ridiculous. Exactly how. I mean, like I said, let the man rest. I might get used to another Wolverine. Maybe.
It'll be a challenge, no matter who it is.
Oh, yeah.
Not well known.
And that's the thing, because, I mean, Wolverine was Hugh Jackman's breakout role.
Yes, definitely.
He was a stage performer. For love of, he was performing plays.
He can fucking sing.
Oh, yeah. The man's got some lungs on him, for sure.
He wasn't
But
even
yeah.
supposed to be the original Wolverine anyways, though.
No. It was because, like, the last dude, like, had to quit, like, short notice, and Hugh Jackman, who had, like, a perm in his hair or something, because he was running from a play directly to the Wolverine casting call that they had, the second one at least. Yeah. Holy crap.
This merger also means that they can do justice to the Fantastic Four, since
Yes, like we can finally get a good Fantastic Four movie.
at least something bearable.
Decent. I will take decent.
All right, the reboot wasn't awful. I could have gotten behind the reboot up until the Care Bear stare at the end. Like, once that happened, I was like, okay, this movie's ruined for me. I mean, like, any good thing I had about this movie is gone. I mean, it's just utterly gone. Because, I mean, I can understand, because, I mean, even Marvel themselves have taken liberty with their own characters, with, like, the Ultimate series and the What If series of this, that, and the other, and multiverses and this, that, or the other. I mean, good Christ. And who could forget the 2099 series of comics?
Why'd you have to do it like that, Des? What did it ever do to you?
Oh no, the Spider-Man 2099 was amazing, and X-Men 2099 was great. But yeah, you're just not going to see it anymore. Those have been like forgotten pretty much entirely. But yeah, I mean, I was okay with Reed Richards being like super young and this, that, and the other, and Johnny and Sue Storm not being blood related is whatever. Of course, unless you actually want to try and tell me that they were blood related, because I'm sorry, that's no. Neither one of them looked mixed enough to be blood related. But
Not Kate Mara, at least.
but yeah, so yeah, that no. I was okay with it up until it's like the spoiler in case anyone actually cares, but Doom pretty much becomes like super god mode, and I feel like what went wrong with the movie was basically with the writers and the fact that they made Doom imposing, scary, and then realized, oh crap, we can't beat him now. So instead of like not making him that powerful, they used the power of friendship, aka the Care Bear stare. No joke. That's what the movie, if you haven't seen it, that's actually what the movie boils down to. They use the power of friendship to overcome Doom.
That feels like it was ripped directly out of a Captain Planet story or something like that. Oh, we've got to give Hart a little role here. Here you
go.
You leave Matee alone.
And so,
he was a saint.
And like I said, somehow they did it and didn't seem goofy, even for a kid's show. This movie does it, and it looks weirder than the Care Bear stare. All right, I mean it was awful. It was awful. But yeah, I cannot wait for, and even like I said, the first movie of the Fantastic Four, two movies, or I don't know what you call that, because no trilogy is three. I don't know what you call it, two. Yeah, I mean, Silver Surfer got weird, and so like, again, I mean, at least when Silver Surfer did the power of friendship, they literally combined their powers into one person, like a literal Captain Planet. But in the reboot, they didn't. They just had to work together, and it's like, what? But yeah, it was pretty much the same principle, but done horribly. But at the same time, it's like, I kind of wished back then that they would have stopped at the first movie, because then it would have been all right. It wouldn't have been amazing, but it would have been all right. But now, at least it can now be redeemed, because it is in the hands of Marvel once more. And does anybody remember, like, the backlash people thought was going to happen when Disney bought out Marvel?
Yeah.
Oh, I can see why people would initially be kind of wary of that. Yeah.
I mean, that was the thing, because it's like, oh my god, they're going to make it like super friendly kids shows and this, that, and the other, and I knew better. I actually knew better because watching Pirates of the Caribbean.
True.
Like, as a movie series, that's not your normal kiddie Disney movie. Like, Pirates, like, deals with death in, like, not even a, like, life lesson way like Bambi did or something, it just dealt with death. People died for like little to no reason.
Oh yeah.
So after watching that movie series evolve, I knew Marvel was okay for the most part. At least the Avengers movies were going to be okay for the most part. And then here we are years later, and they've only pretty much done exactly what they've been doing. But it's also like I told my wife, though, if Disney like completely, like the 20th Century Studios are done for, IPs like Deadpool are going to die.
Yeah.
Because Disney is not going to have its primary name on something like Deadpool at all.
Yeah, because it's Disney.
Exactly. I mean, and it's understandable because, they're okay with putting out that, okay, the Avengers movies are Disney movies. They're superheroes. It's cool. Then you have Deadpool.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen under a Disney. You're not going to get the castle silhouette and the big symphonic opening and then Deadpool. It's not going to happen. Yeah, but I mean, I'm hoping that they keep... someone on Twitter pointed out that pretty much The Simpsons called it again because The Simpsons, as a joke in one of their episodes, had a 21st century or 20th Century Fox logo, but at the bottom of the logo it said a Walt Disney Company.
And ironically, was that part of the Fox deal too? The Simpsons are under
Yeah,
Disney?
yeah. The Simpsons is under Disney now. That was part of the deal. That was like the three major things was X-Men, Fantastic Four, and The Simpsons. It's like, what?
I will say that when that did happen, I think it was when they announced that they were trying to finalize it, and I hopped on Twitter, and someone else had shared a Ryan Reynolds tweet who said, yes, finally, Deadpool and Mickey Mouse can work out this sexual frustration.
I firmly believe that there are people born to play roles.
Oh, Ryan Reynolds was born for Deadpool.
Ryan Reynolds was born to play Deadpool. Like, 100%, without a doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no question to it. There's, Hugh Jackman did a good Wolverine, but Ryan Reynolds... And, okay, you want to know the hilarious full circle thing, though? Is, in one of the questions to the editors or whatever that Marvel Comics used to have, somebody actually wrote in and asked what Deadpool looked like underneath his mask.
Oh.
And the answer that they gave was I think they said it was like a cross between like Ryan Reynolds and like the Olsen twins or something like that. And that was way before Ryan Reynolds had even played an X-Men Origins Wolverine because that was one reason he was interested in playing Wade Wilson in the Origins movie is because of that comment.
Huh.
So yeah, it was like practically full circle. It's like he was pretty much born to play Wade Wilson.
The universe.
And Marvel like pretty much, like I said, it's a crazy full circle thing and it's hilarious.
Well, the world's a better place for that movie having come out.
It is. It's great. And like I said, hopefully they'll, Disney will keep like everything 21st Century Fox or 20th Century Fox and just, put their name underneath the label. And that way we could have a chance at movies like Deadpool and Logan actually still being, possible.
Deadpool Spider-Man.
I mean, everyone worked with Spider-Man, though.
Exactly.
That's the secret behind... That's actually, like, the secret of Spider-Man is literally, unlike anybody else, Spider-Man has worked with everyone in the Marvel Universe.
Now, my question is this, fellas. Have you seen the cartoon where Wade Wilson steals one of Tony Stark's jets? And I think Spider-Man's on the jet with him, and he's like, where did you get this jet from? He's like, oh, from my buddy Tony Stark. And he's like, does he know you have it? And he was like, he does now. And it pans to Tony Stark in, like, a tower, and he's like, all right, I'll take one of the Quinn jets. And then Jarvis is like, sir, one of the jets is missing. And he looks out, and it's like, I owe you one jet. Deadpool. Spray painted. And I'm like, I love Deadpool so much.
Oh, he's a great character. I mean, no matter what medium he's been portrayed in, he's always been an amazing character. I mean, it is possible that he'll still do well even with the PG-13. I mean, it won't be as successful as current, but like I said, he can still be done because they have already successfully portrayed Deadpool without a lot of what was in the Deadpool movie. I mean, he's still sexually innuendous, even in the comics.
Oh, yeah.
Even in pretty much everywhere he is. And that's like his thing. He's crazy. He talks to the viewer/player because
he can break the fourth wall.
Yeah. He knows you're there. And I mean, like I said, he's got the like humor of a 12-year-old child. Just pretty. I mean, yeah, that's it. And one like great way he was portrayed, like, was High Moon Studio Deadpool video game.
I love that game.
That thing was freaking hilarious and fantastic, and it was great. Oh, every step of the way was amazing. Because I mean, it was Deadpool in a way that, you know, wasn't as like crude and like blatantly obvious in many aspects to the movie. Because I mean, one of the first things in like the video game is like you run around his apartment, and very, you know, kind of nonchalantly you you see an inflatable doll in a corner, and the only comment that is made about it is the fact that one of his voices go, "Oh, she looks so surprised all the time."
Didn't Nolan North do his voice, or was that?
Yes, no, that was Nolan North. That was that was our ghost.
Now I want a Deadpool skin for the ghost.
I mean,
Oh, that would be awesome.
a lot of people wanted to complain, but that's his portrayal of Deadpool is one reason I was okay with Nolan North being the voice of Ghost. Because, I mean, a lot of his voice credits are like, you know, characters and like, you know, serious characters and this, that, and the other. And it's like, all right, fine, that's cool. But to hear how he did Deadpool and the voices of Deadpool, or yeah, the inner voices of Deadpool, it was fantastic. It was great. And it was amazing.
Now, do you forgive him for the Green Lantern movie because of Deadpool?
Oh, yeah.
I was actually kind of okay with Green Lantern movie.
You're like one of seven.
I know. I was kind of okay because he made that movie, basically. I mean, it was kind of a subpar plot and everything was kind of meh, but he was the best part of that movie.
Hands down, yeah.
So I just watched a great Ryan Reynolds movie. I mean, not a great Ryan Reynolds movie, but
A fun one?
yeah, I mean, no Ryan Reynolds movie is bad because his sense of humor and jokes just carry whatever.
I could watch the movie Waiting every day, 365 days a year. Because
I suggest people watch that movie for entirely different reasons, but yes, he is amazing in that movie also.
Would
Oh my God.
Would one of the other reasons be because you've worked in the kitchen and you know that is exactly what that movie is?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what terrifies people when I tell them that. It's like the fact that, yeah, the movie Waiting, the fact that that characterizes most wait staff, like attitudes and such. Yeah, people get scared. You want to know the scariest part of that movie, though?
it's not the dick game, is it? Is there a scarier part?
No, the fact that everything that gets done,
Gets
like
done.
people's food and stuff,
Mhm.
it's the fact that that movie was written by former wait staff.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah. Have you ever
Yeah.
worked in the kitchen, Des?
Yes, for 6 years.
Laz, have you ever worked in the kitchen?
I did, yeah, a couple summers.
Okay, we've all worked in the kitchen then. 100% of everything that's happened to the food has happened in that movie. Like, that's the reason I love that movie so much too, is because it's like, yeah, that is exactly what it's like.
That's why my mom hates the movie, because it's so accurate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she was a server for like some 35 years. But yeah, she hates that movie because of how accurate it is. And yeah, I can like look at characters, and from when I saw it, it's like, yeah, I knew that kind of person. I know that kind of person. I've known that person. I mean, oh, it's crazy. And yeah, when I tell people like how accurate it is, it's like, wait, really? It's like, yeah. Because I mean, people need to watch that movie. People need to have that movie in their library and like watch it like once a month, just to remind them, don't mess with the people that make your food.
Nope. I don't send shit back. You understand me?
Again, this is why I order medium, because I can't eat medium rare. It's not my preferred like temp. Like, medium is pretty much my preferred temp, but I can eat medium rare, and I'm okay with medium well. That's why I order medium, to give the cook play. Because I'm okay either way, like, within that range. As long as it's not, like, raw or burnt, I'm fine. But yeah.
Laz,
No.
Laz, how do you like your steak? Let's...
Hello?
Hello? Laz, you still there? Huh. Technical difficulties? I believe Laz is...
May have had to step away for a quick moment.
Okay. He will be back.
All right, sweet.
Now, I just got my second masterwork, by the way. The Knox Veneris 2, the fusion rifle.
Oh, yeah.
Plus 10 reload speed. I'm going to re-roll
Yeah.
that when I get 3 cores. I also got the new City submachine gun, which is really fun.
Yeah, it's all right. I haven't played around too much with stuff, but yeah. I guess in this absence, we can kind of go over like stuff that's happened in Destiny, because there is more to talk about, like, for sure. Because I mean, laser tag was a thing; it was fun.
It was.
Like it's gone, but hey, Mayhem's coming back.
Yeah. Hey guys, guess who's really fucking stoked about that? This guy. I fucking love Mayhem. I'm gonna say it right now. I love it. The most fun I've had. I miss it.
Ah, there he is.
Laz is back.
I have the worst timing when it comes to road trips, phone calls, and everything else when it comes to bladder control. 10 minutes.
Understandable.
Oh, I have to pee again. Sorry.
It takes some training
Yeah,
to get through one of these podcasts.
I told myself, too, urinate before you sit down. And did I? No, of course not.
we have other podcasters say that to us too, like, guys, I gotta go. I mean, I can hold it for a while, but I have to give me a second. We're like, oh yeah, we totally understand.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But yeah, oh yeah, like I've said, there has been a meta shift, though.
Yeah, you mentioned that. What do you
The fact-
mean?
Well, I misread like a patch note from 1.1.0, because just this past Tuesday, the 12th, we had 1.1.1.1. That gave us Masterworks and the capability of buying armor pieces off of vendors and random weapon, blah, blah, blah. But before that, there was a change to the 450 precision archetype of auto rifles that I didn't quite understand when I first read it. But then after like consuming the information and like thinking over it, I finally understood that they reduced the precision modifier, which means the precision hits don't do quite as much damage. They actually dropped the damage point. But at the same time, they did give them a slight buff because they do more damage, but they dropped the precision modifier. So their optimal time to kill has actually risen. It was like the best time to kill. Like 450s used to be the best optimal time to kill, but now they're not. Like their body shot time to kill has actually risen and is now better. So they're not quite as hard of a skill gap gun. Like you don't quite have to hit all headshots now to get their like most decent time to kill. But new big kids in the pool are now 600 RPM auto rifles, the adaptive archetype, which is
the forward path.
the Scaithlock, Ghost Primus, Forward Path, Restoration 8, Gilliard 42, Martyr's Make, Solemn Hymn, The Doubt, The Last Breath, Null Calamity 9, First 9 from this week, get it. And Medley 45. Those are going to be your theoretical better time to kills now.
Right.
By a bit. But with this change also, like, basically the whole meta of auto rifles are shifted entirely. Because precisions are now, like the origin story and stuff like that, now they're actually the worst optimal time to kill. They're actually at the bottom of the barrel, which means your high impact autos, the Halfdan D and the coming Low Quitter from New Monarchy, if it wins, the Viced Rapid Fires now actually perform better than those precisions. But the precisions still don't feel horrible. I will say that. But I did some playing around. Now, like I said, once laser tag was over, I entered the Crucible and did the thing that normally gives me a bigger headache, and that's finding new weapons to play with.
Mm-hmm.
I tried a lot of them, but I will say, like, I have to pretty much kind of issue an apology, because I've heard a lot of people, like, just sing this gun's praises, and I just kind of shuffled it to the side, because I had my number, I had my Prosecutor, yeah, I had a Uriel's, and I had a Jiangxi, I had all these, like, 450 autos that was swapped between. I didn't need this other gun. I'm good, because I had what was good. I gotta say, the forward path is freaking amazing. Oh my god, does that gun feel good. Holy crap.
Yeah, I've been...
Oh.
Yeah.
That meant to drop? Nope, no, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Iron Banner auto.
There we go, yeah.
It's the kinetic Iron Banner auto. Because this season we'll be adding a energy auto in one of the slots. I can't remember what the slot now. But can't remember the archetype. But yeah, so I was like going through and I was using weapons, which is one reason I've been screwing around so much with my Masterworks Skatelock. Because that was the first gun I tried. Because it was already Masterworks, so it's like, well, let's see how this does. The recoil seemed a little like off-putting for me, so I kind of put that away kind of quick. And I tried something else. I can't remember what. I might not have even been a kinetic, but either way, I finally put on like a forward path, and I was just suddenly like, I was just mowing through people. Like, I put the stochastic variable on my Hunter, like dropped it down to phase mag, so I had the forward path and a 600 RPM SMG, and it's just, everything was working, and it just felt so good. But I will say also, Restoration 8 is not anything to sleep on. The old 600 RPM energy auto from New Monarchy, that's not anything to sleep on. That thing is smooth as silk.
That was in the first faction rally, right?
Yeah, that was Season 1 faction rally. Okay. Which hopefully, as a lot of people say, hopefully the Season 1 weapons will make a return. Considering the amount of weapons that have been added to the database, I cannot, firmly say, one way or the other, because there's already like the reward weapon plus like 4 other weapons in the database, which is pretty much what they gave us the last time in Season 1. Was like, the first reward weapon and then 4 weapons, like, to start with. So I wouldn't be surprised if, like, they just left Season 1 behind. Yes, I mean, because, again, like, we've heard, like, Luke Smith and a lot of people, like, I mean, pretty much the only people that don't want to leave weapons behind are the weapon designers.
Of course.
They want you to have these weapons, because, especially now in D2, they craft these weapons individually now. It's not just, well, we can give it, like, this, that, like, to compensate for these perks or whatever. No, it's like, we have this weapon with these stats and with these exact sets of perks and choices for this reason. So, yeah, the gun designers, like, they want you with these guns in your hands. But some of the higher-ups, I mean, like Luke Smith, being an old MMO player, he's okay with a white whale that gets away. I mean, he would be okay with that. So I can't say one way or the other. Like, if we're going to see the Season 1 weapons again or not. I kind of hope so, because I am missing the other scout rifle from New Monarchy. But if that's the white whale, so be it. I mean, so far it hasn't been the case that they've locked out any of the Season 1 stuff, so...
Yeah, it just seems like they're adding to it.
Yeah, it does, so, I mean...
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm okay either way. Like, if the Season 2 stuff for the faction rounds is all we're getting, I'll be alright with that. And if it's not, then I'm alright with that. I'm okay either way. But yeah, also, like, let me say, get verse 9 done. Like, after you do verse 10, which is the sword, and then Brother Vance gives you another verse, which leads you to Perfect Paradox, a very nice shotgun with the Roman numerals XIV engraved on the side, and if I'm not mistaken, there's actually like a cross on the ammo breech. Like where you load the shells into, I think there's a cross at the bottom of the shotgun.
I remember seeing the fleur-de-lis. I remember seeing that on the shotgun.
I mean, it could be that, but I don't know. Like it definitely looked like a cross, which makes sense considering his name is Saint.
Yeah.
So I mean, it looks gorgeous. It feels fun. But yeah, after that, definitely verse 5, verse 9. If you can only do 4, like if you can only do 2, I'm sorry, but try your best to get to verse 9 and verse 5. Like I will preach that all day. Yeah, just try your best to get to verse 9 and verse 5 because this 600 like No Calamity 9 from verse 9, 600 RPM energy auto rifle. Ooh. And by God, it feels amazing. Because it had some bounce to it, about like Skaithlock, but it has Zen Moment.
Ooh.
And this is like the first weapon I've ever used where I've been able to tell, like, Zen Moment is making a difference in this gun. Because, like, when you start hitting people, like, especially in PvP, you start hitting people, you get that slight bounce, and then you realize, like, halfway through the magazine, if you're, like, still holding the trigger and still pegging people, oh wow, there's like no bounds now. Yeah, it's very, very good and definitely rewards you for being able to track your opponent, like because of Zen Moment. But it's not awful. It is, like I said, it's a little better than Skaithlock at base, but just the potential to become a freaking laser beam is very, very nice and it's very, very cool. Sadly, like I said, the No Calamity did not drop as a masterwork for me. That would have been amazing. But it's a nice gun. I'm apparently not using the most popular barrels because I'm using like the first one that gives stability and recoil control. So it's like yes, and then like tactical magazine because yes. I'm just a huge fan of Tac Mag. I love tactical mag. It's I don't know. I like it. But yeah, so that's become like another like really good one I use. And like I said, if for those of you that use an Omelon sidearm, forget all the Omelon sidearms, get verse 5. Verse 5, Traveler's Judgment 5. Get that sidearm. Do it.
Yeah,
Do it.
I heard it's incredible.
God, it feels so good. I mean, it feels... It just feels good. It's amazing.
No, Laz,
I mean...
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was about to say, it just has the potential, like, to outrange, like, everything. Like, every other, like, Omelon sidearm, it can practically outrange, and it can outdo, while still having a very hefty chunk of stability to, like, allow you to hit, like, more precision shots. It is just... It is molto bene. It is muy bueno. Very, very nice.
Now, Laz, I know you said that you have a short time because you have
Sure.
Okay. to one question for you.
Sure.
Until to leave us with. I'm sure you know which one it is. If you could bring back one map from Destiny 1 to bring back into the location, what would it be and what would you do to it?
The name is... It's not even on the tip of my tongue. There was a Dreadnought map. I can't remember the name.
Prison? Or the one with the one with the halls?
I want to say it was the prison.
What was that map called? Do you remember? Yes.
Oh, I've lost him.
Was it the one with the two long... Oh, there we go. Okay. Des, what was that map called? Do you remember?
The map with the two what?
The two long halls in the Dreadnought?
Oh, dungeons?
Dungeons? Okay.
Because you had one, like, one inclined hallway that had basically a hump in the middle, but then you had a hallway that was basically through the basement, quote-unquote. And you had, like, the B area that had just a long shaft that dropped in the middle of the map.
That would be it, yes.
Yeah. Dungeons.
Beautiful. Okay. So dungeons would be the map you bring back?
But I don't know if I would change anything because...
I mean, you can make it you can make it Venus, of course.
Oh, that's true.
I mean, you can make it inside the Infinite Forest.
There's an idea.
Because, I mean, you can that thing can mimic anything, right?
Or it could still be on the Dreadnought because we still have that.
It is still there. It's true.
Oh, yeah.
There's too many.
just throwing that out there. I mean, it's got good engagement ranges. It's got like a variety of engagement ranges. There's not really a lot that needs to change on dungeons, really.
It's enjoyable.
It is. It was nice. Like, it can be frustrating because there were like a lot of like nooks and crannies, like to be able. Because, I mean, there's, like, dips, there's dives, there's, like, odd geometry everywhere. I mean, it felt like the epitome of, like, a Dreadnought map to me.
So mission accomplished?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
All right. Yeah, I mean, Des, yours was the other... Yeah,
the Cathedral of Dusk or whatever.
Dusk, yeah.
Because that was just giant and amazing, and I liked it. But yeah, like I said, like even over Cathedral, like I would say that Dungeons is like I said the pinnacle of a Dreadnought map because it just features a lot more of its like the architecture comes a little more in play in the dungeons more so than it does Cathedral. I feel.
Cathedral's more like the environment looks great, but the dungeons you actually feel like you're moving on one of the PvE maps.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, well, Laz, we'll let you... I believe you said you had the a Christmas...
Santa.
Oh, secret... okay, that's what... I remember it was something to do with Christmas, and my girlfriend will be ashamed of me because one of my buddies from work has said to me, and I quote, "I wish I loved something as much as she loves Christmas." So she would be ashamed that I didn't remember Secret Santa. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for all your questions and comments. Sorry we couldn't answer a lot more, but I'm pretty sure you knew you were going to get caught up in a crazy long conversation.
Look forward to listening to him, so I'm not disappointed in the least bit whatsoever.
Thanks, man. Do you want to plug anything before you leave? Your Twitter? Any Twitches?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at the LazzRich, LazzRich. I try to keep the tweets to game stuff, but other stuff inevitably pops in there. You might see my infant daughter on there, so cuteness alert every so often.
Oh, super cute, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I did something right for once in my life. Twitch, not as much these days. I find that when I do have time to game, I just can't get on there. So No Twitch plug at this time, really. I don't think.
All right.
It's fair.
So, enjoy your Secret Santa. Hopefully, I don't know what you wish someone who goes to a Secret Santa. Hopefully, you get something good. I guess. Or
Okay, my wish list was 2 of those Funko Pop figurines from Destiny. So
good man.
Rex was one.
I'm a Funko Pop collector myself, sir.
Excellent. Well, I don't have two. I only have 3, so I can't quite call myself a collector yet, but I'm getting up there.
I have 7 or 8. Would that count as a collection?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I am a collector. My girlfriend and I, every holiday, we get each other a Funko. Birthday, Christmas, that kind of stuff. We give each other at least a Funko. That's just one of the things we do. But thanks for coming on. I almost got you caught up in another conversation. Thank you for coming on. Again, thank you for supporting us. Thank you for being there to have interesting conversations with at 3 o'clock in the morning when I get up sometimes and you're up for some strange reason. I don't know. I appreciate it. So
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
It's a pleasure.
Oh, have a fun Secret Santa, dude.
All right, enjoy the rest of the show, guys.
Thanks,
for
man.
sure.
I thought that was a great idea because he has been ever since you started Days, it's been kind of hard to be like, hey man, this shit sucks. And Laz is, I don't know why he's up. I don't know how he's up, but he's up when I get off of work and I'm like, I need to talk to somebody. And Laz is like, what's up, Buster? You around, buddy? So, he always gives crazy fun topics. So I figured having him on would be fun. We should do that every now and then. I think just bring somebody. I mean, not like we don't bring random people on anyway. So why not a listener, right? So, buddy, I'm just saying, I've been playing with these Masterworks, and I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm playing a heroic strike, and making orbs for yourself as well as others is super useful. So
it is.
Oh my god, and rewarding, fun.
It does get rid of like one of the kind of the taboos of D2, and the fact that you really didn't want to waste a super.
Mm-hmm.
Like you wanted to, especially like now, like after the 1.1.0 update when they like amped super damage against bosses. Like, oh my god, dude, supers wreck bosses.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, when do you use it? You like before these masterworks. Like if you don't have a masterwork, it's like you might get maybe 2 if you chain them right, maybe. But with these masterworks, I mean, good god,
I've gotten 3 shields so far, and I think we all have at least a masterwork going.
Yeah, so I mean, it can pump out enough orbs to where you're. I mean, it's like D1 supers.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like, I mean, just with an insane amount of orbs, just everywhere, and it's like, wow. I mean, it feels good.
Mm-hmm. It sure does.
Like, of course, it's going to be like less of a possibility in PvP. But I will say my masterwork, what's it called, Traveler's Judgment 5, has made me 1 orb in
Has
PvP.
it?
Yes.
Nice. So you don't have to switch it.
No. You don't have to switch it to get the orbs. It always makes orbs on multi-kills.
Wow.
Always. The only difference that Vanguard and Crucible Masterworks are is the kill count that it displays. Vanguard Masterworks display total kill counts. Like everything you kill. It's like the kill track list.
Okay, so
It's like the number on the top of the Ghost is like your total kills, and the number on the bottom is just your Crucible kills. That's basically how that works. Like, as far as I've been able to gather, there's no restrictions to stats or anything for specific masterworks. It's just what, like, the amount of kills that it shows is dependent upon what masterwork it is. And that's it. That's as far as I know. Because, yeah, I've been able to make an orb with Traveler's Judgment because I got in one dude's face, like, melted him down, and then got into basically an Omelon sidearm battle because dude was using the oldie but a goodie Last Hope. And here I am with Traveler's Judgment, and I actually won. And it's like, with a sliver of health, mind you, but it's like, oh, wow. But, yeah, I did pop an orb. And, it's pretty sure pop an orb. But, yeah. And it, everybody needs a Traveler's Judgment 5.
By the way,
if you, oh my god, if you like an Omelon sidearm, if you like get up and close enough, like, oh my god, that feels so good. Yeah.
By the way, Des, just to let you know, the Starjammers were Princess Leanna's.
Oh, it wasn't Star. Oh no, the Corsair. Was it Corsairs? Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad. So it was Starjammer.
I was sitting on that one for a minute. I was like, I'm gonna hit her with it in a second.
Oh come on, that's information from like 20 years ago.
Yeah, that was mentioned in an obscure one episode of X-Men in the 90s.
Yeah,
Corsairs. So.
Oh yeah, well I mean I've known about Corsairs because I mean I was a bit more of a comic book nerd back then. So yeah, I just thought that's weird. And the Starjammer was the science fiction add-on module for D&D.
D&D in space, baby.
Which that's a trippy idea, like literal magic and spellcasting with starships. Huh.
Sounds fun.
Or was that that was Spelljammer, not Starjammer. Okay, all right, never mind. By the way, very similar.
Spell star. It's okay.
So let's see, because I mean, there's been a lot of crap that happened this week in the world of Destiny.
Yeah. What about how Bungie brought down and brought back the raid stuff? So
I was just about to mention
everybody
that.
Could get it, right?
The access of basically in-game activities such as Prestige Nightfall. I think Prestige Raid is still Prestige, like beyond, like Prestige Leviathan is still out of grasp, I think. Yeah, normal Leviathan Raid and normal Nightfall. Oh wait. Yeah. Because people couldn't access the Prestige like trophy that came with vanilla Destiny 2 because the Prestige activities were going to stay at max power cap. And Bungie released a blog post stating that their intent was, yes, the normal like Leviathan Raid, the normal Nightfall would always stay at a power level that would be accessible to players and like anyway, blah blah this, that, and the other. But Prestige Nightfalls, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
No. The Prestige Leviathan Raid would be brought back down to 300 power.
I think they brought down the Prestige Nightfalls as well. I think those two are tied.
No. The Prestige Nightfall will remain a pinnacle activity. So that's still at 330 power cap, but the trophy for completing a Prestige activity now only requires you to complete the Prestige Leviathan. Which actually doesn't even matter because it would activate anyway. But, yeah, and Trials was like out of people's reach with the Curse of Osiris expansion, and they will, which I mean, like a lot of people have mentioned, this has been like the MO of in-game activity. I mean, like Trials, especially like Nightfalls, have always been like at like max power level, basically. Mm-hmm. Like they were always kind of the mid-end to in-game activities and required you to always have like the latest expansion. So a lot of people that have tried to like start like this controversy about it, it's kind of like, again, it's been around since D1. And while true, like there's a lot of other arguments around D1, so like this argument got drowned out a lot. I mean, I can see why people would feel kind of gypped, but I just don't know. I don't quite know how I sit like in this argument, because being an avid player, like even if I don't have a current expansion immediately at launch, I'm also not going to be playing the game like without it long enough for it to really affect me.
Yeah,
because I'm going to get it like as soon as possible.
You
So
might have a few days, right, without it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, from my perspective, like, that's my perspective from it. So I'm like, whatever Bungie decides, whether I can play these activities or not, like, there's still, like, a lot of other crap I could have done in the meantime, or could have played another game until I got the expansion, whatever. Mm-hmm. But, like I said, that's just me, so I can't, it's hard for me, like, to come across and try to put myself into an opinion as one way or the other. But it is very true that considering, like, a lot of trophies and such are attached to these activities that got locked out, I can see the issue there. Because, I mean, if you're going to tie it to a trophy system in the vanilla game and then separate it away, but then again, you're also not going to have, well, actually, no, because power doesn't matter in PvP anymore, so, yeah. So, yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah. But they have made mention that moving forward, they're investigating added a third difficulty to all prestige activities so that they can provide both a challenge that stays relevant with each new expansion and a prestige version that is available to all players. So they are looking at they've brought down a couple of they brought down some stuff, but they are looking at a way to basically keep that age old, because I've actually seen this complaint on Twitter. It's like, for years we wanted Bungie to keep raid activities relevant. Mm-hmm. And they, like, this is a kind of a loose paraphrase. It's almost quote for quote, but like I said, not exactly. But they made mention, it's like, now that Bungie's done it, it's like it gets taken away because of the whiners. And I can understand that side of the thing, too, because for years we wanted Vault of Glass to be brought up. We wanted Crota's End to be brought up. Nobody really wanted King's Fall to be brought up. But, I kind of did, because I liked it. Screw you guys. But it took them until, like, the very, 2.5 years in, they brought everything back up with, actually, it might have been, 3/4 or whatever, but, no, 2.5, because when the Age of Triumph came around, and Rise of Iron, or was it 3.5? Jeez, yeah, this is the 4th year.
Yeah, this is your 4th.
Crap. So it was 3.5 years for them to bring up these raid activities. And then, like I said, for this, they wanted to do that from the get-go, and that's, amazing. But now they can't, because they made it a slight oversight. But they are looking for a middle ground. So, I mean, it's a thing that will be happening. And like I said, I'm, super glad that, raids are going to be kept relevant. Like, whatever you want to run, you're going to be capable of running. It only took them 4 years to learn that lesson. So,
have you played the raid layer at all?
No, I still have not stepped foot into the raid layer. Okay. As I mentioned, finally, I got Dan to carry me through, or not really carry me, but we got through Leviathan, which I think was kind of a breath of fresh air, because I was kind of like a carry that knew, because I knew a lot of the encounters. I just wasn't most familiar with Callus encounter.
Yeah, well, you haven't really done it that much, right? That was
exactly.
a hard one for me as well.
So, I mean, that was where, I needed kind of a sit-down and explanation of what was happening, or not really what was happening, but what to do. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we got it done. We never wiped fully. Just got it done. I showed them the amazement of in the gauntlet of a hunter in mobile armor. And his current meta, or Dan's current meta guys, kept on making suggestions so I could move faster. Because I was putting on mobility armor that focused on mobility. So I was at 9 mobility as a hunter. Oof. All of a sudden someone's like, well, why don't you put on Stompies? That does increase sprint speed. Yeah, let's do that. Why don't you put on Mida? Oh yeah, I can do that too.
Faster.
Why don't you put on the mini tool too? It's perfect. So I was Sanic for the gauntlet engagement, because my jumps, my jumps were screwing me over so much.
Overshooting?
I was overshooting like crazy. But yeah, we got it. Like I said, we got it through. We got it done. They showed me some nifty tricks. Did some new things. We got things, like I said, one and done. So now I could officially turn in all the crap tons of tokens I had, which gave me the leg armor from a hunter. which I forgot that was like even a possible thing you can get out of the raid. It's like armor. You get like so many weapons from the raid engrams, and just you're lucky to get weapons in an encounter. And it's like, oh yeah, it does give armor. Ah, go figure.
Check that shit out.
I know, right? So yeah, let's see what else is most relevant. I guess would be TWAB after the 1.1.1.1.1.1.1 whatever.
A bunch.
Actually, yeah, this one. Well, actually, not just the TWAB, but basically 1.1.1 itself, the 12.12 update. Which, yeah, they fixed the Prestige Leviathan raid, to bring it back down to 300. And they adjusted so people that... Basically, the only way you can access trials is if it's featured on a Curse of Osiris map, which you still need expansion for that. So that's the best middle ground that I could actually like foresee even for that. It's like, yeah, okay, like everyone can play trials, sure, but if it's on a Curse of Osiris map, you need Curse of Osiris. Like that's fair. I feel like whoever's not buying the expansion, like I do kind of feel like whoever's not buying the expansion is kind of like might be trying to like to get the free ride into things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're still gonna need the expansion to play expansion maps. Which same thing for the Nightfall. Nightfall will always be available unless it's a Curse of Osiris strike. In which case, you're gonna need the expansion to play the Nightfall. See, they fixed an issue impacting power level progression from 289 to 300 for players who did not own Curse of Osiris. So that's the thing. Oh yeah, now Cade stash chests will... Oh yeah, they are injected directly into your loot stream. So there's nothing physically to actually get out of a chest anymore when it comes to Cade stash chests.
So they don't fall, right?
Yeah, exactly. Which may have actually happened to me. And I just never realized it. I don't know. Because there's been times I've opened them and like I've gotten to the habit of where I'm like standing on top of the open chest, like trying to get in, basically, to make sure, like, you're getting the rewards. Because I've had to do that a few times, and sometimes it still doesn't happen. And
that's the thing. Also, Cade's chests were also affected by the.
Oh yeah. Originally,
the safety mechanism for chests.
Yeah.
So that was a thing which I don't understand. You want us to collect it, but you make it so we're affected by it, but. You know, it was probably a bug. Yeah, it was probably a thing that was oversight because it's like they didn't want people like to get tokens like crazy from, like E1, which people found a way anyway. But either way, things happened. They patched that as well. Yeah, they patched like oh I know, right? It's like yeah, because right here it's like faction rallies, and Bungie knows what they're doing because first point on faction rallies is. Players can no longer loot the same chest multiple times in quick succession for faction rally tokens. Done. Done. That's the way of saying we nerfed the weep. I would say I'm sorry, but I'm not fucking sorry. I'm not sorry.
No, I mean, kind of, but not really, because it was super effective, but by God, was it freaking
boring?
Oh
boring as shit?
Yeah,
it was boring.
It was. They fixed basically everything else is basically like fixes here and there. They, Masterworks are out, which we've talked about, and they drop basically any legendary weapon can now drop as Masterworks for characters above level or power level 250. But boy, are they a special thing to get.
That's what that's exactly it. It feels special.
Yeah, they are a special thing to get because I like the fact that it's a slight adjustment to the border. So, I mean, you can tell, like, right in the loot stream, like, immediately, it's like, it's a legendary, but, here's a special orange. It's like, oh.
And it's got that special, like, filigree.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely a special thing to get. Like, I mean, because, like I said, beyond my turning in the Horde, like, I've rarely gotten them myself. And, like I said, hilariously, like, the 2 drops I did get... from because anyone that's played Leviathan is like A lot of times you just get tokens.
Hmm.
But I did get 2 weapon drops out of Leviathan Raid when I completed it. Both of them were Masterworks. Sadly, one of them was a Mob Justice, so that was happened. Zur, which Squidface is in town with nothing too incredible. He is in the tower.
Yeah, that was good. That was a nice little surprise. Like, old times.
Yeah, I do like the fact that basically, just in case, like, they did have that kind of forethought. It's like, just in case people don't get the expansion, they are having him go into the tower instead of Mercury. So that way you can still access Zur. Because when they said, because Bungie put out a tweet, it's like, Zur's not going to be on Mercury. Look for him. And it's like, all right, so I'm sitting there opening the destination maps for every planet. When he hopped in, it's like, where the crap is he? He's like, he's not on Earth. He's not on Nessus. Not on Io. Where the crap is he? Like, it's time, right? Mm-hmm. Then open up the tower map. He's like, oh.
You sneaky bastard. Look at you sneaking away from me.
Yeah, Zur now sells the Fated Engram. They've added it. It is guaranteed to give you an exotic you do not own, which is very nice. It is only 97 legendary shards, very decently priced. It is everything we could hope for, except for the fact you can only get 1. Which I'm fine with that, legitimately.
No, that's 1 as in just 1 per account per week, just 1. Not 1 per character, just 1.
Like, maybe I'm actually heading to Zur right now. Like, maybe it's 1 a day? Like, per account? Maybe?
I'd be happy if it was just 1. That makes it so you can't just bang, bang, bang.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm completely okay with it being 1. But I'm just surprised that that's there. Like, that's normally something that Bungie doesn't quite restrict. They definitely, like, casual friendly. Like, keep things a little fair. Like, to the chase of exotics and such. That everyone...
Tourist.
True.
Vacationer.
But, I mean, yeah, it's basically just friendly to the fact that everyone will have to feel the grind for exotics right now. Zur can relieve you a very little bit, and nope, I already claimed this week my Fated Engram. So unless that's a bug and you're supposed to be able to get it like 1 a character, but either way, I'm still okay with 1 an account a week because, like I said, everyone is equal ground feeling the RNG issues of exotics. Or maybe you're not, and maybe you found them all. I mean,
nope.
Maybe that's a thing, but either way.
If you haven't gotten a double drop, at least 1 double dropping of exotic, tweet at me, at us, at the RNG Cast, at BusterKnuckle13, at DesRaven on Twitter, and tell us, because you, whomever you are blessed by the gods themselves.
Which I actually am in better condition than I thought on exotics. I'm only missing like 1 armor. Yeah, 1 armor piece on my hunter, which is the Graviton forfeit. 2 armor pieces on my Titan, which is the Aeon Safe and the Helm of Saint 14. And then 3 on my Warlock, which is the Skull of Dire Umkar, the Vesper of Radius, and the Aeon Soul. So that's all. I thought it was more, but okay, it's not. And then when I got my Fated Engram, it gave me Crimson.
Ooh.
I'm completely okay with that.
Ooh.
I have not tried it in PvP, but it does feel pretty good. I mean, it's an interesting feel because it's like so obviously a hand cannon, but then it's firing in a burst, and it's like, this is weird. This is just weird.
Now, for the Fated Engrams, do they drop just class-specific stuff, or is it any exotic?
That I don't know. Like, I can't answer that because I don't know. Because I was on my hunter and it dropped a Crimson. Like, I was kind of hoping to see if it weighted it towards the character that you're using, but I couldn't like tell that myself.
Okay.
Which I am missing like more weapons than I am armor, apparently, because I'm still missing. Well, I mean, for things that I can actually get, I'm still missing Jade Rabbit, Telesto, and the Colony. And then The Legend of Acreus. But I have apparently some harsh steps before I can even dream of that.
Yeah, the Legend of Acreus is going to be a tough one.
Well, again, thanks to Dan, I mean, I was able to completing the raid step, and then I have that strike that I've basically been hearing about since the second week of D2.
Oh, you mean we're on the same step then? Because we're on the same step then.
Yeah, the arms dealer strike. Yeah, that's I've heard of that one. Not looking forward to it.
Yeah, I heard it's go fuck yourself hard.
Yeah. But let's see. They fixed some things with some exotics. They fixed an issue where the Prometheus lens exotic tracer rifle was outputting too much damage too quickly. Happened.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you what, like I said, it does still feel pretty good in PvE. And may I say, laser tag is not dead. Because I've played plenty of public events, like doing the grinding for Lost Prophecy stuff. It's freaking Radiant Lorien cultures. Yeah. Been doing plenty of those grinding, and it is hilarious to see, like, because running the raid has reminded me of how good the Cold Heart is. And actually, like, with the nerf that precision archetype auto rifles got, Cold Heart is actually back to being, like, your best option for damage again, pretty much. Because the only thing that was really holding to, like, the closest thing to Cold Heart was precision auto rifles. But they've had their damage tweaked. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's only a little further now. So basically your best possible, like, DPS is Cold Heart. So I've been running around with that, again, because, like I said, running the raid and, like, just murdering Callus in 2 phases. With all the Cold Heart beams just going off on them, has reminded me of how good that weapon is, and I have been running, like, public events with the Cold Heart, and it is great to see, like, you got, like, 4 people, 3, and, 2 of them using a Cold Heart, and one's using a Prometheus lens, so you got, like, red and blue just freaking swaying everywhere. It is still glorious to see. So yeah, laser tag is still a thing. Which once private matches happens and once, like, Prometheus lens gets balanced,
oh, that's gonna be a thing.
Laser tag
for sure.
One side gets the Prometheus lens, one side gets to use Cold Heart. Let's go. Red v blue, baby.
I'm for that.
Yeah, it sounds. Oh, it does sound like it would be fun. Only if they perform, like, similarly. If they don't, then that would be an issue, but see, Zavala, Shax, and even Tess now sell the thank you gift, as I call them, sort of gift consumables is actually what I think they're called.
Yeah.
They are, well, for Vanguard and Crucible, it is random what it will give. Vanguard will give your strike teammates a random thing, whether it's an additional legendary. Maybe, I mean, I haven't seen exotic, but they did use that in the example. But it does tell you. I'm not 100% sure if you can tell if it tells you exactly who activates, but you can tell because in the feed it will say, like, you 3 people can expect a package of tokens at the end of the strike or at the completion of this activity. So it will tell you what you're getting. But like I said, I don't think it actually tells you who activated it. And then the same thing for Crucible, except the fact that it's for all 8 people in the match.
And they're exotics, right?
They can be. They can. Like I said, it's still a random thing because I know I've completed one match, and all of a sudden I had a gift of Crucible tokens. So it's still random, but like I said, the thought that counts. And then Tess gives you different things because I don't know if her pool is any different.
It's shaders from what I
know.
What I know.
Well, I know it's shaders. Like I've gotten a gift of shaders.
Yeah, blue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know if that's random as well, or like what her, like how far the Eververse goes. But yeah, it's at the very least it's shaders. Which means it's going to be most common. But I'm wondering like if it could possibly be like emotes and sparrows and crap. I mean,
cool.
If that's just like luck of the draw. All faction gear or all faction vendors now let you buy armor pieces for sure. Like all armor pieces are always available, but in order to buy armor pieces, you A, need tokens and legendary shards, and B, you need to open enough reward packages
with them.
Essentially, you have to level them up like you did in D1. Once you turn in 10 reward packages to a faction, then you're able to buy every piece of armor. But yeah, you have to claim 10 reward engrams to unlock the last piece of armor to buy, to be able to buy from them 4 tokens. And then, also, at that 10th engram, you actually get the option to buy the rotating weapon that they have available to buy as well.
Which can be brought out as a masterwork.
You can?
I'm assuming.
I mean,
it's a drop, right?
That would seem a little busted to me, but I don't know. I mean, if you actually can just grind it, because I mean, heroic strikes give you a crap ton of tokens, man. And if you can just sit there and buy and buy and buy and buy and buy, and to be able to turn it into a masterwork, that might be a little busted. But then again, I haven't heard anybody with that idea yet, so yeah, I don't know. Something about Pacifica for Crucible, adjusted power level or power ammo locations on Eternity map. Basically, the important part of 1.1.1.1 or whatever.
0.3.
Yeah, is Masterworks. Vendors now sell armor, so you don't have to rely on RNG to get armor, and there's the possibility of buying a weapon. As long as you've opened at least 10 reward engrams. I know Ishtar Commander was saying that he was working on a methodology of actually tracking what level you are, quote unquote, with factions.
Yeah.
Or was that Dim? It was one of them. I know one of the item managers was saying that they are actually working on making that a trackable thing. I can actually check Ishtar right now and see if that's
that would be something cool. I mean, if you think about it, just how many levels are you with?
Correction, yes. Ishtar Commander now has it to where you can see how many packages you've opened, like with what level you are with a faction, basically. Like how many reward engrams.
Does it break it down to like planet?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, because for my Hunter, I've opened apparently 23 for the Crucible. The factions are set to 0, which makes sense. But Fragmented Researcher, which sounds like Ikora, I've opened 15 of those apparently. I've opened 28 Dead Zone Scouts. 8 from the Field Commander.
Field Commander?
And Banner.
That would be Devram, Field Commander?
No, that's no, because Devram's Dead Zone Scout. The Field Commander is Sloan in Pacifica.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then apparently 18 Vanguard Tactical. I've already opened 5 on Mercury, and 4 for the 9. So yeah, Ishtar Commander does break down to where you can see exactly how far you need to go.
Nice.
So yeah, that is under the Progress tab, which also keeps track of all your milestones and such. So
he really keeps track of everything.
Yeah, and it's yeah. So yeah, that's 1.1.1. Oh yeah, that's definitely the TWAB, which talks about 1.1.1 and the Masterworks, and the fact that they're there. They, like we mentioned before, they announced the webcomic. the Zavala before Zavala, which is actually a line from Curse of Osiris and one of my favorite lines. Because I think somebody may mention it's like, don't tell Zavala you said that.
Yeah.
And then they mention the Dawning.
Oh yeah.
Coming with the Dawning, or as we've heard before, coming with the Dawning is snowball fights. Yay, snowball fights.
Apparently they stun enemies in the wild.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's going to be fun because the snowball is basically like snow forts or snow walls is where you're going to be able to get your snowballs from. So it's going to be very obvious, or at least hopefully. Let's see. They will have milestones associated with the Dawning, the milestones of winter, apparently. They have mentioned also that the Eververse will have Dawning specific items, which they've also made. Yeah, they made mention that every piece of Dawning thing that you can get from apparently randomly will be shuffled through Tess's buyable inventory before the Dawning leaves. So everything that you could randomly get, you can just, if you have enough bright dust, you can just chill out, wait for that specific thing you want, and you'll be able to buy it if you have the bright dust. So I mean, there's still a give and take there, but I think this is probably going to be the best way they've ever handled the seasonal, basically filming. I mean, this is going to be the best way they've handled that. I feel Smart Loot was nice for SRL, but like I said, this definitely feels like the best they're going to handle the Dawning with the fact that you can just buy everything. Like they've already said, it's like everything available in a Dawning engram is going to be available to be bought directly for a bright dust, not actual silver currency, which would be a little better, I feel.
Now, you made the SRL's not coming back?
Yeah. I mean, it's another one of those things that they already had. I mean, yeah, the Sparrow mechanics are very different now. So it'd be a little weird, but I mean, either way, it's what they decide. Maybe, at the very least, they're just wanting to separate the Dawning from SRL. And maybe give one of them its own thing. Because they did basically make SRL its own thing, even in D1. But it was still kind of attached to the Dawning. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if they're just making the Dawning more of its own thing without SRL. And maybe we'll still get it. If it's not going to completely bum out my experience if we don't get Pharaoh Racing back. They've made enough nods to it through strikes and stuff that's cool. But yeah. And Ikora will have Dawning gift schematics, where you can venture to other worlds and craft a unique gift for the vendors and agents you find in the tower and beyond. Then give the lucky recipient their gift and receive a gift in return. You can participate in the season of giving every day of the event. This sounds like what they kind of did with
Halloween.
Yeah. Well, no, it wasn't Halloween. It was a Dawning event where they had gifts out, and you had to do certain things to possibly get the tags to open up special gifts.
Okay, yeah, I thought you were talking about the gift giving because that was in, I believe, the Festival of the Lost when you had to collect things and give candy to certain people.
Yeah. The candy mechanic was Festival of the Lost. Yeah, it kind of sounds like I said, it sounds something similar to that. So, but yeah, just a little more wintry themed than Christmassy. Yeah. And of course, there will be ice hockey instead of soccer.
Does anybody play
Very
it?
giant puck. I haven't seen anyone play it, but either way, ice hockey is going to be there whether you play it or not. I mean,
yeah, it's still something cool they added.
It's there, yeah. But yeah, that's about it for the Dawning. I mean, nothing too crazy or out there. Oh yeah, except for Mayhem. It's coming back.
Yeah.
So that's happening, which that's very bueno. Will still not stop the complaints.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Even though you'll have like incredible grenades, incredible melees, incredible supers, just like all the time, and people will ultimately complain about it throughout the 3-week event. 3-week event? Does it say?
I don't.
But anyway, it starts on December the 19th. That might be important to go over. Starts on December the 19th. Stops on January the 9th. So yes, 3-week event.
Pretty awesome if you ask
Actually,
me.
that's a month.
Yeah.
What am I talking about? 3-week event? This? Because I know I read 3-week event somewhere, but starts on the 19th. 26th is 1 week. The 2nd is 2 weeks. Oh yeah, the 9th is 3 weeks. Yeah. So yeah, and also the 19th, I believe, is when the faction rallies are actually going to start.
Yeah, they canceled that. Which
They postponed it for some reason.
Postponed, cancel. Almost the same thing,
Um,
right?
No, because it's just happening basically when the dawning starts. As far as I can tell, I mean, they're only doing like 2 of these special events like a month. I don't see them canceling this. Because in the past they've like canceled one Iron Banner.
Yeah,
I said.
I guess postpone would be a better term. You're right.
But yeah, so it's still going to happen. Like I said, hopefully on the 19th, which it's definitely going to give you a crap ton of things to do. Because you're going to have like the start of the dawning and then faction rallies right there. Then I think the week after that is probably going to be Iron Banner. Probably.
I believe.
Which I don't know.
I do believe you're an oracle now because of that. I bet within 16 days, dude, you undershot by a mile.
No, right?
It did.
But,
it took 3
It took
hours
like 16
after.
hours.
It took
Yeah.
3 hours after Curse of Osiris came out. I'm disappointed in the game. It's like, what are you disappointed in? Tell me.
But I mean, even though I was disappointed 3 hours into the game, because that's when the campaign ended, it's like, oh, actually, it wasn't even 3 hours, but after 3 hours and I've like finished everything, it's kind of like, oh, well, that's kind of meh. I mean, it's just the only reason it's even disappointing is the fact that it's basically a reminder of D1 issues. Mm-hmm. Not an incredibly strong story. I mean, yeah, it was like epic because the big issues. The Vex going to delete everything. Why? We don't really know. How?
The Vex.
It was just
the Vex. Am I right?
Yeah, not right. So I mean, the only difference is now it's Osiris instead of the Stranger. That basically doesn't have time to explain what they don't have time to explain. A little light reference. I mean, that's like I said. That's the only reason I don't like the campaign because a lot of it just felt like D1 issues. Mm-hmm. But I will say the fact that definitely kind of basically a spoiler warning. The fact that we knew and that we talked about Saint 14 dying was actually a massive spoiler for another verse.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Because they're talking about like the possibility he's alive, and you're actually like listening to Osiris like kind of reminisce about Saint 14. Like that mission was amazing. Like just from start to end, like I said, you're tracking down his signal, like releasing his trapped light. You're just doing all these things, and with the hopes of saving Saint 14. But again, spoiler for those that either can't, because there has been reportedly issues of people not being able to get another verse to drop for them. But at the end of it all, you actually enter the one unique like thing that they use for this entire like set of missions is basically the tomb of Saint 14. You walk into this room and Ghost comments it's like there's thousands of Vex bodies everywhere. And you see the body of Saint 14 floating. And as Ghost mentions, it's like the Vex learned to respect him because they basically enshrined him there. And that is like undoubtedly, if not my favorite, like I can't even think of anything that's like hitting, because it wasn't necessarily deep. It didn't have a lot of storytelling, but it was done better than the Curse of Osiris campaign, in my opinion, because it personified what we knew about Saint 14. And like the end was just poetic. Because again, he's sitting there with corpses of 1,000 Vex, or thousands of Vex, shall I say. And then as we know from the lore of the shotgun, the very Vex that was made to take his life in that room. And they learned to respect him.
Would you say it's the same bit of emotion as when you, was it in Rise of Iron, the ghost talking to you?
Yeah. That was Rise of Iron. Yeah, it was about there. Because, I mean, I actually felt sad because I was hungry for knowledge. I mean, it was completely my fault. Nobody spoiled it for me. I entirely read the lore of the shotgun and learned that he died. That was on me. Mm-hmm. But I was sad to know that. Because it ended up being like a massive spoiler for that mission. But it was still so beautifully done. Because again, there wasn't like a lot of context. You hear Osiris making these comments and these like sorrowful laments basically about how he knew Saint 14 and knew what type of guardian he was. And yeah, it was just a beautifully touching story because again, you don't hear from Saint 14. You don't know anything about him still. Like you don't learn anything new. It's just the fact that this mission sets and personifies everything we knew about him. The fact that he took no prisoners, and all we knew is he was like the speaker's favorite, and he viewed the speaker as a father apparently. But again, that's all we know. We still don't know specifics other than he was a hero and he headbutted a Kel. So we just know we don't learn anything new. He was tough, and he's gained respect of machines because of this toughness. But yeah, it's just well done.
Machines that want to take over and destroy everything.
Take over and destroy everything, and they enshrine the body of this Exo. And I love the fact that he's actually, I mean, to kind of keep up with the continuity, he has no helmet on. Mm-hmm. I mean, you see his face and all. I mean, and the armor is just the fact that you can definitely see him wearing that helmet. Oh god, but it is just beautifully done. And like I said, it is definitely one of my favorite missions. And it will be sad that I won't be able to like replay it. Because again, it's like his shrine, his like tomb is just is like a unique place where it's interesting, like I said, to get lost in this universe, because now we know, like somewhere in the forest, in the Infinite Forest, is the shrine of Saint 14. Or the tomb, rather. Mm-hmm. A crypt. There we go. The crypt.
That's Catacombs.
Yes.
Is that what you're looking for?
And also, I've actually noticed in a bit of, I think, one of the strikes, which, come to find out, 3 of the story missions are actually strikes. Holy crap.
What?
Yeah, 3 of the story missions from Curse of Osiris are strikes. Of course, Panoptes is one. Yeah. I believe. Actually, I have not had that one pop up. So Panoptes may not be a strike, actually. It should be, but good God. It definitely should be. But no, definitely the Root Mind, which is the Cyclops-looking one, and the Cabal that gives the flying elbow to the Vex Minotaur that you're supposedly going to fight, and Cabal comes out of nowhere and destroys that, and all of a sudden you're fighting him. Valis Tha'un, I believe is his name. But yeah, so definitely those 2. Like I said, I could have sworn it was Panoptes too, but that just should be. Like, amp that difficulty up a bit. Make it for 3 people. Yeah, that should be. But, okay, all right. But 2 for sure. I just want to have Panoptes as, like, a strike fight, but may not have. But anyway, in one of these missions, I believe it's with the Root Mind. It's Tree of Possibilities. But they make mention, like, Osiris makes, again, these are the bits I wanted more of in, like, the campaign, is the fact that Osiris mentions that the Vexor's trying to take the forest back from him. But the forest is his. And Sagira, like, chimes up and says, you didn't ask the Vanguard. Or, no, it says the Vanguard wouldn't agree with that. And Osiris comes back, it's like, I didn't ask them. It's like, ooh!
Say it again.
Right?
Say it again.
Like, good grief. It's like, those are the moments I wanted more of. And, like, that's my only issue. I wanted more. Which isn't a horrible problem, but crap.
It's a pretty bad one.
Yeah. But, so yeah. So, there's little bits that are definitely, like I said, just the fact Masterworks are, good God, if you didn't think there was a grind, chase for one, okay, if you don't think that Masterworks are a grind, or that there is a grind, or whatever, pick a weapon, your favorite weapon, and then chase after the Masterwork version of that weapon, and get back to
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if it comes from Trials or the Raid, do that, and then get back to me. Because your best bet is to have a favorite weapon in Trials or the Raid. Because that's pretty much where Masterworks probably drop like candy. But, in fact, they did for me. And I even got 3 cores out of the Mob Justice that I dismantled. I normally get like 2 Masterwork cores. Which, okay, yeah, we completely forgot to go over that. Which, you can make a legendary Masterwork with 10 cores. Which is a much higher number than I, like, tossed out for, like, my example. I said, like, 3. No, you need 3 to re-roll. Which, I'm okay with 10. 10 is cool, because at the same time, it may be random how many Masterwork cores you get from a weapon when you dismantle it. I've normally gotten 2. Normally. But like I said, I got 3 from my Mob Justice, from the Raid. I don't know if Raid weapon, like in-game weapons, give you an extra one, or what. But that's just how it worked out for me. Like, my rocket launchers and crap gave me, like, everything I got from everything else gave me 2 cores. The Mob Justice gave me 3. And yes, it's 10 cores and 25 legendary shards to upgrade it to a Masterwork. Maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, 25.
10 to turn, 3 to reroll.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's because it's 10 and 25 shards, and then 3, and I still think 25 shards even to reroll. But it might only be 15 to reroll legendary shards, but then again, it still might be 25. Because, yeah, the legendary shard costs are no small joke. Because pretty much everything has been given, like, legendary shard cost. There we go, I can check with that. And re-rolling is indeed 25 legendary shards as well. So yeah, anything you do, you need 25 legendary shards. Re-rolling, you need 3 cores. To make it or change it. Okay, here's another very important thing. If you want to change it from a Vanguard Masterwork weapon to a Crucible Masterwork weapon, that's 10 cores and 25 shards still.
Really?
So, yes, yeah. It's still 10 cores and 25 shards. But again, all that does is change how many, like, the enemy is defeated.
Oh, okay.
That's because, like, my escape lock, I like screwed around with it for a few strikes in like a couple of days. It has 377 kills on it. Total. But, yeah, so, and then if you choose Crucible, it's only going to show your Crucible kills. So if you want to seem more impressive, just leave it on Vanguard. You want to seem a little more lethal? Like, as long as the kill count's up there? Put it on Crucible. But I definitely do suggest, like, Like I said, if you're looking like to really as the show off, like mechanic that this is basically is or can be, definitely give it a while before you switch over to a Crucible kill count. So that way, like I said, you can actually have some numbers like to flaunt off, if that's your thing. So yes, that's Masterworks. That's the Dawning that's king. That's basically the TWAB.
That's Zer.
Zer. We've updated the same blog with notes on how we intend to handle expressions differently going forward, which we've went over that. Blah blah blah. Oh yeah, the raid layer world first. Surprisingly, wasn't anyone huge. It was just a group of guys. It wasn't high profile streamers, as far as I'm aware. It's just a group of guys that got it done, just like seconds before Broman could. Apparently.
I love how the world's first doesn't have to be someone who, you're like, oh my god, it was blah blah blah.
Well, like I said, like Broman,
yeah,
he was like second. We know that name by now. Like Dado, he had a world's first back, I think for Crota's End.
Or the legend himself.
Yeah, which I mean, we knew his name then. But I do love Broman. Broman is basically quoted for saying that they enjoy the fact when high-profile streamers don't get world's first. It's I think they actually said this on one of the times they get world's first. It's they prefer it if the smaller people do because, again, everyone knows. If you know anything about the Destiny community, you know Broman, you know that name. Mm-hmm. So I mean, for him to get world's first, that's not a major thing. What Broman actually has stated as liking is when these lower profile people actually get thrusted into the spotlight. That way you can learn about them. There's more people within the community that you can learn about. And basically you're deepening the community to a degree that way. And that's a really cool outlook for an extraordinarily high profile streamer to have.
It's hard not to like that guy.
I know, right? Because like I said, I mean, very... From the way it goes, I mean, very... Because, I mean... I'm so used to the higher profile people having just these ginormous egos that you hear about. And then you hear about something like that from Broman, it's like, wow, that's really cool. Of course, but this is the guy that has helped every Guardian Con. Has been behind every Guardian Con charity stream and charity organization and such. I mean, he's basically the guy pulling those strings. I mean,
also has a podcast. Broman, holla at us. Come on.
Which I mean, if I'm not mistaken, his podcast is more about, or at least his original goal was to help people get into streaming and such, and podcasts and just things, and basically helping people to break into the I'm not sure if that's the podcast he did start, but I did remember hearing that he wanted to start a podcast with his brother T-Rex. That was essentially kind of a how-to on streaming and such. To most things, I of course haven't listened to it, but I mean, it goes on to explain not only the who's and how's and what's, but just minor detail that a lot of people don't always discuss. Let's say.
Also, real quick, Drafty974 on Twitter. I guess listened to the episode, our last episode, and tweeted at the Dirt Fam. He tweeted to Cyborg and Arrow answered, and I'm like, we didn't call him out. We just said we'd like to have him on. And then he was like, I know, but I think if I said call him out, they'd answer. And they did answer, and that is in the works, which I am super excited for because, it'd be awesome to have those guys on.
Nice.
Still working on Bones.
But, Yes, I mean, oh yeah. Okay. All right. I'm glad that I actually didn't go through the DPS because known issues for Destiny Update 1.1.1.1. Some of these known issues are there is an issue for Masterwork Weapon Core not properly forwarded to the Postmaster when dismantling Masterwork weapons with a full consumable inventory. So free up space before you dismantle them. Fix coming. Masterwork multi-kills on floating enemies. We have verified an issue where multi-kills on floating enemies do not produce orbs of light as intended. There we go. Like wizards and shanks and servitors and shriekers. Just a few of them. And they have identified an issue where challenges appear to players when they are entering quick play in the Crucible for the quick play challenges. And, like I said, I'm glad I read this because this has been driving me nuts. We have identified an issue where players are witnessing a waypoint over Ikora when they do not have enough tokens for a reputation package, currently under investigation. Thank you, Bungie. That's getting on my nerves. It only started with my hunter. I don't know why.
That's what's happening.
Yes, exactly. That's the waypoint over at Ikora. She's like pinging you, telling you, hey, I got something for you. No, she doesn't. Don't do it. Just ignore her. They're working on her. It's like that freaking Postmaster icon in D1.
Oh, makes more sense.
Yes, now again I have a waypoint that I have to ignore. Mm-hmm. Crap. Oh god. But yeah. So yeah, that is. I'm so glad I read through the known issues because that is definitely a known issue. So yes, watch out when you're dismantling. Don't have a full consumable inventory. How do you have a full consumable inventory though? Legit.
I don't know. I'm wondering that myself.
Let's real talk that because this inventory is ginormous. I mean, I have 24 out of 50 right now, and that's because of freaking prophecy offerings.
I'm about to say shaders. I can understand that. Ships.
I
understand that too.
Shaders, mods, like that kind of crap. Yeah. You run out of room. Like 50 is easy. Consumables, tokens. I mean,
unless you stack it up. I mean, and if you're grinding that hard, bravo.
I know, right? I
had a shit ton of weapon parts, but that was just because I was like, okay, I wonder how many Masterworks I can get from cracking 2,000 weapon parts. As of right now, it's over 2,000. It's 3.
Yeah. The gunsmith is like super rare, but definitely like I will say planetaries seem to be a better grind. So definitely, basically, because I know Eververse has been fairly kind to me on the last few ghost shells they gave me. Because I now have a ghost shell that, like, if I'm not mistaken, actually I have 2 EDZ ghost shells. One of these ghost shells, that's not it at all. That's not it. The only bad thing is I can't tell exactly which ones make these ghost shells because they don't actually have like names like EDZ shell.
Oh yeah, why would they?
Kaleidoscope is definitely one of them. Let's see, is this one of them? No, this is Mercury. Okay, so one of them gives me like detects resources. So the stuff you can pick up, the dust-like shards that you can pick up in EDZ, that highlights in 30 ranges, and it gives me 10% extra glimmer. The other one, which is the kaleidoscope shell of mine, is a cache detector, so it shows me chests, and it gives me a chance to obtain additional faction consumables. Yeah, that's the one I wear when I do public events.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because additional faction consumables means extra tokens. Or extra dusklight shards also.
Which convert into... And that's the consumable that converts into rep.
Yeah. Not super efficient, but like I said, when you have the chance to get 2, it's like, alright, why not? And like I said, it detects caches, which will also have a chance of giving you 2 tokens, which is the best bang for your buck. And you're using public events, which can give you extra tokens, which is bang for your buck. So I mean, yeah, that's yeah.
And radiolarian fluid as well, right? Off, or is it just on Mercury?
Nope. Well, no. It's I haven't seen that shell work with radiolarian fluid.
Well, can't you get radiolarian fluid from the caches?
Public events. Yeah. You can get it from a channel.
Well, that would help too, right? If you're still...
Oh, yeah. But you need to have an active prophecy on your character to collect radiolarian fluid. Which, one tactic that I might be doing is before I turn in, because again, it's a verse I don't muchly care for. I'm still going to complete it, but I might just like grind out, like just to have it active and grind out. But of course, I don't think I want to also, because after this, there's only 2 prophecies
that you don't have.
Yeah. I mean, then that's it. So at one end, I kind of want to keep this active so I can just like get some excess materials, so I can get some excess blue materials. On the other end, it's like, why bother? When there's only going to be 2 I'm missing after this, and there's no guarantee that I'm even going to be capable of like redoing Lost Prophecies, which, trust me, I'm probably not. Probably not, because, I mean, I might pick up like a tablet and just keep it on me, and then like a week later see if I have enough crap to complete it. But yeah, I'm not going to be grinding these out for like infusion material or anything. That's not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen, right?
I mean, maybe for Masterworks, depending upon how critical that is, if someone can find that out, maybe. But doubtful, because these are some hefty grinds. I don't mind them, but
yeah, they got some weight to them, right?
It's like the exact swords. I didn't hugely, horribly mind the grind for those materials, but you didn't see me doing it over and over and over and over and over again if I didn't need to.
Nope, got one done.
Yeah. I had one of each, just like, yep, that's it. That's my limit. That was my limit. And yeah, it was like 11 prophecies. Yeah, that's probably gonna be it for me. That's gonna be it. So yeah, that's the TWAB. I think that's basically it for news for Destiny, because that's about it. I mean, you get a cameo from Satan 14, Multibene, very nice, very nice. Prophecy weapons, Masterworks, like
Faction Rally being postponed.
Yeah. That's coming though. It's
it's coming. We're just trying to see if we remember anything else to talk about for Destiny.
Yeah, I think that's about it, because I mean, yeah. Which I'm kind of glad they did, for whatever reason. I'm kind of glad they did postpone faction rallies, because basically getting your head around like Masterworks and like all this, and then having like to focus on the grind for freaking faction rallies. I'm kind of glad we're able to basically, consume this information about Masterworks before, not having to juggle it between. It's like, oh, now I got, because I can imagine for like the serious grinders, like they're still going to get a lot of Masterworks out of the faction rally packages, because I mean, because I can only imagine that faction rally is probably going to have a slightly better, probably planetary chances at Masterworks.
Yeah,
at least hopefully, because I mean, faction rallies are a little more of a grind for slightly less of a return, like just for general grinding for the stuff. So I mean, hopefully everyone will get a few Masterworks out of the faction rallies. Lord knows. Yeah. I'm just always hoping for more Masterworks. And we actually also have had interesting tweets from Chris Barrett talking about certain things like how he too wishes there were masterwork armor. I mean, all these tweets are basically definitely like traps, and the fact that it seems to be things that they are working on. Okay, not that. No, there we go. But and the Dawning Sword he retweeted looks freaking amazing.
Yeah, it's a new model, right? Like a new.
I'm sure. Yeah. It's definitely it's a unique body shape. Yes, it's nice.
And that armor looks good.
Let's see. Apparently, he wants Ikora's ship. Oh yeah. The in the Dawning, which not the Dawning, but in Curse of Osiris, which actually I got lucky in Eververse, bright engrams, which, by God, have I been getting a rain of freaking bright engrams. Have you noticed like a serious uptake in like the amount of bright engrams you're getting?
Oh yeah.
Because even like beyond like last week, I just I attributed it to actual leveling up. But now this week it's like,
oh no,
here's a bright engram. Oh, here's a bright engram. Oh, here's a bright engram. Here's a bright. It's like, Jesus Christ, I got a lot of them.
Within like 2 or 3 hours, you can get several.
Yeah, so I mean, I actually ended up with not only Osiris' ship, but Osiris' sparrow. Still no exotic ghost shells, though.
Can I also make a very important announcement real quick? If you're doing a public event and you're on purposely fucking up making it, you should know how to make it heroic by now, especially one of the early ones. If you're shooting spider tanks and not slamming the ball, not slamming the spark, you're an asshole. There you go. Dusty Knuckle quote of the week.
Oh yes, and the Dawning, as Chris Barrett has tweeted. Also, the Dawning is available to everyone. And some of the things that he tweaked out. That's okay. He tweeted them out, and then he has a winky face emoji with it. One of which, like I said, I'd love to see a masterwork armor soon too.
Winky face.
Winky face. I'd love to see a simplified and much more interesting mod system too. Winky face. But
cool.
Yeah, that's
pretty cool. He knows. You know what I mean?
I know, for sure. I mean, it's. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. I love the higher end devs. So far, I love like all the devs I've ever heard from or like follow on Twitter. I freaking love these devs, especially like Chris Barrett, John Wisniewski. They are almost like unapologetic people, and they are great and lovely. And again, these are the people that had the balls to actually sell Prometheus Lens on the week that it was bugged. It's like, bravo, sir. Bravo. Because I thought it was just going to be a bad time in Crucible. I walk up to Zer's like, oh my. It's like, Squid Face, you've never been this important since you sold Gallahorn in the second week. Like 4 years ago.
Gallahorn and Merciless, my friend. That was his 2 big weeks.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, Prometheus Lens is busted. Watch out for the Crucible. Okay. Hey, Zer, what you got, Squid Face?
We totally wouldn't sell the Prometheus Lens by Zer this week. Well, check again.
Your move. Here you go. Have fun. Laser tag is amazing. But like I said, they already knew, like, fix was incoming. It was going to be short-term problems. Like,
bring it
have
on.
at it. Yeah,
Yep.
have at it. Have fun. It's like, but I could definitely foresee if they didn't have that kind of a quick fix, and even if Zer didn't sell it, it was going to become a problem in the community very fast. Mm-hmm. Just like Suros was, just like Thorn was, just like Mida kind of became, because there was really nothing else actually broken. But, like, I mean, these things... oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Vex. The Mythoclast. But yeah, that's... Because when those things came out and became problems, yeah, people had fun. Or at least people that got it had fun for a bit. And then everyone else was left to suffer. But, rather than have that legacy for D2, Bungie said, screw it, laser tag. Like, it's going to be put in the dirt, which, like I said, it may not actually be in the dirt. I haven't tried it. I've been able to escape one in the Crucible. So, I mean, I'm not going to say it's all powerful. It might still be fun. It might actually still be fun to use. It might still be fairly competitive. But it's not busted anymore, for sure.
No.
And, like I said, Bungie's still looking at it. And they've even mentioned January. Probably going to see a fix, like an actual fix for it in January. So there's that.
Then we'll see where it actually is. And then we'll be able to play lasers. We'll be able to play Stormtroopers.
Yeah, no, right? Like recreate Star Wars battles with blue and red lasers.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Terminator T2 like opening sequence.
Oh yeah.
That was red and blue lasers flying everywhere. That would just be great. But yeah, I mean, nothing like I said, nothing like extraordinarily down the pipeline. Just that we've been teased by Barrett and Masterworks. This is not the end of the Masterworks, even as Bungie has stated. This isn't the end. This is only the beginning of the Masterworks system, and they're still they are going to be looking at the mod system as well, which is thankful. But just as a reminder to those in the community, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's happened many times. I wish we could re-roll our weapon stats. Here you go. Oh, this is dull and boring. Wish we could have something to grind for. Oh, here you go. Oh, it's too hard. All right, then. And this is one reason I'm not a game dev, because holy crap, I would be bald from pulling my hair out. Like, legitimately. Legitimately.
Yeah. It is it's a thankless job, sure. I mean, when your shit's liked, it's liked, but when something goes wrong, oh boy, did Bungie was like, we're good. Could you just imagine Deej waking up the morning after Osiris dropped, and like, I wonder what oh god, no.
He's probably used to it by now.
I mean, probably. That's true.
That poor jaded soul. I mean, he smiles, he's always happy, but you know deep down that's just like a darkened soul by now. Just a little of this community is killing him.
Yeah, right?
But oh man, it's and for people, like I said, for so many people saying them just ruining their game, apparently they've been doing that since Halo 3, and guess what? They're still making games.
Yeah.
And trust me, if they weren't actually doing something right on some level, they wouldn't be making video games. Not now. I mean, Halo 3 was freaking, what, decade ago? 2?
Yeah.
Actually, how long?
2?
I mean, 2 sounds about right.
Yeah.
Halo 3 release date. Because I know they at least at 2007. So, oh god, yeah, almost 15 years for sure.
Oh god.
I know, right? So yeah, I mean, because that's like pretty much any like long-term Halo or Bungie fan I've heard of. It's like Halo 3 is like their I think usually like their last favorite, I think. Mm-hmm. And after that, it just kind of goes downhill from there. And then there's a lot of people that have been saying like ever since like Halo 2 or the first Halo, like everything's been going downhill because of changes that Bungie was making or whatever. So I mean, if they can survive for 20 years and still, you know, basically be making video games, like I said, they're doing something right on some level. They have to be. Especially considering how much, which I mean, it sucks that the devs get so much just toddler temperament hate thrown at them, but at the same time, again, if they weren't doing something right on some level, they wouldn't be getting this. I mean, because no matter where the emotion ends you, I mean, certainly it had to have probably started because of some love for the game, which I can understand. At one point in time, they did love this game. But a lot of these just constant whiners, I just don't think it's that anymore, you know? Like, that's not the issue anymore. The fact that something has evolved from it, that some kind of resentment is there. Mm-hmm. You may still think you love the game, but
do you?
You may not actually, yeah. Like, take a good, real, like, deep thought there. But yeah, so if not for its success, like, it definitely wouldn't be here with these controversies today. So they had to have done something right, which I'm just hoping, still waiting for basically that perfect release. Like, it's probably going to happen. Like, somewhere before they're done with the Destiny story and universe.
The world, yeah.
I mean, they're going to have this perfect release where they just have... It's like, maybe it's D4, maybe it's D5. But, like, that vanilla launch is just going to be perfect. At some point. I mean, hopefully it has to happen, right? They're getting close. One was, as we stated before, vanilla was just a tragic, like, mess. It was a hot mess. Things were everywhere, all over the place. D2 was at least, at release, it was at least focused. May not have been a great focus, but it was at least more focused. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, as the years go by, as Bungie learns tricks on how to do things, I mean, things are going to come easier. And then we're going to have a platform that, like D4, maybe Destiny 5, you know? But eventually it'll be there. And sadly, we'll still have those guys. Oh my god, it's such a busted game. You still play that game? Oh my god.
That's the one thing I will never... Once it goes away, I will be the happiest person ever. I will be a happy buster. People still play Destiny? Yes. Yes, people still play Destiny. People still make that joke?
I know, right? It's like you realize people have been making that joke for like 4.5 years now. Thank you for the background noise.
It doesn't make sense to me. Like, oh, people still play Destiny. Yes, people still play Destiny. People still make the joke. Yes. People still play Black Ops 2, for God's sake.
I know, right? I mean, people still play, like, even before and after the remastered edition came out, people still play Modern Warfare 2. I think.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. You're right.
I mean, because I know for a fact I actually watched a streamer, like, he was playing Modern Warfare 2, and I thought it was going to be the remastered edition that they came out with. No, he had, like, booted up, like, Xbox, like, 360, and was playing the original Modern Warfare 2. Because that's where he had, like, all of his, you know, prestige and crap. So it's like, oh. Well, okay. I mean... But yeah, so, I mean... Yeah, it's hilarious. Because you may think, you know, people may think, it's like, oh, you still play that game? It's like, oh, you're still making that comment 3.5 years later? I mean, people left, and it's rare I actually see that comment seriously. And when I do, I just can't help but think, it's like, really?
So that's what you got?
Really?
That's what you got this time? Okay, all right.
Because guess what? Speaking of things that people still play, people still play The Division. Mm-hmm. A lot of people still play The Division.
People still play OG Mario, dude. Like,
no, I'm talking like it's surprising, really, for The Division. Because, again, the one thing that separated, like, Destiny and Division when they launched was the fact that Destiny had already, like, went through its failures. And it was, like, kind of starting to improve. And then Division just kind of flopped. And, like, it had so many people leave. Like, initially, I was, like, really worried about it, like, how it would continue. Mm. But, like, ever since, like, 1.8, their 1.8 content came out, they've got a lot of people back. I mean, this like it's populated again, and it's like really, it's great to see like them be capable of recovering, basically. Like, sadly, they haven't announced any kind of like expansion beyond what they have now or any sequels. So it might still be a questionable future, but yeah, people still play Division, which a lot of people would be like, I mean, it was supposed to be the Destiny killer, and it kind of died. But it's still trucking along, and it's even still got a really healthy community. Or, I mean, at least a part of it.
As healthy as a video game community can be,
Yeah, for a long time, Destiny's community was healthy. Like, the vocal even. Then some of the vocals started getting a little, mamby-pamby, and then everything's just kind of degraded into what it is now, where it's kind of rare to hear at least even neutral outlook on this video game. Which hopefully we stay at least that. At best, neutral. Like, we'll always, for Curse of Osiris, I mean, we'll say what we don't like. But there's no reason to hate this game, basically. Not yet, anyway. Unless it's just completely, if it does like a Battlefront 2 thing, or, Call of Duty Black Market thing, where all of a sudden the only way to get certain weapons is by Eververse packages, which people seem to think that's how, which I understand. Trust me, I do understand that, like, taking, like, Ghosts and Sparrows out of loot pools, that was, like, I mean, people are acting like that was, like, a massive thing. Like, oh, we chased after ghost shells. No, you didn't. No, I never chased after a ghost shell.
Not never.
Not specifically. I mean, if I got a ghost shell and it looked good, I was excited for it, yes. It's like the new Taken shell that came out with the Prison of Elders update. Mm-hmm. That looked good. I was excited to get one. The Iron Wolf shell that came out with Rise of Iron, I was excited to get one. Was I chasing sparrows or ghost shells?
Never.
No. I mean, yeah, I did buy like a bunch of SRL packages for the first SRL and get a bunch of those sparrows because they look good. I mean, I am excited to get an exotic sparrow drop now, but at the same time, it's like, I didn't play activities to get sparrows. I played activities to get guns. Mm-hmm. And until they take away from activities, I'm still going to play those activities. Like, I'm not super sad that, like, I do wish there was, like, Callus-themed sparrows and ghosts that you can get from that loot pool. I do. Like, that would be cool. But my heart's not absolutely broken that it's not there. Because Taken King didn't have a sparrow either. I mean, Kingsfall didn't have a sparrow. Wrath of the Machine didn't have a sparrow either. And something didn't have a ship.
Wait, which
I remember it didn't have the ship.
No, there was one for sure that didn't have a ship.
I know, right? Because it was actually part of like the Triumph thing that like certain that they were completing like old raids. It's like, oh, these raids got sparrows and like this raid or something got a ship or something, but I can't think of it right now. But yeah, so I mean, not
Wrath of the Machines. No, of them had ships.
It's quite possible.
Yeah, Boulder Glass had a ship.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Crota had a ship.
Yeah.
Kingsfall had a ship.
In fact, Valda and Crota actually had 2 ships.
Yeah. And Wrath of the Machines had one, right? The one that looked all Siva-fied?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, that might have been where you got it from. So yeah. So yeah, it may not have been a ship, but yeah. I was wanting to say they added a ship to something, but oh well. No, it was ghost shells. They added ghost shells to Vault of Glass and Crota's End.
Mm-hmm. That's what
because it was Taken King that started doing raid specific ghost shells. That was it. Yeah, because ghost shells back then were that pre-order bonus.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't change unless you pre-ordered a special edition of Destiny 1. You couldn't change your ghost shell until like House of Wolves or Taken King. Yeah, Taken King is when they started that. Yeah. Okay, there we go.
When you can get the Ghost.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. So, I'm not too sad that those aren't in those pools, and I'm okay with them being in Eververse because it gives Eververse... It keeps certain things away from Eververse, basically. It's even better now because you still get the emote possibilities, which, of course, that's great because they're cosmetic. But now, it's like ships and sparrows. They're cosmetic. Ships, sparrows, ghosts, they're all cosmetic. Like I said, I would love to have the possibility of getting a Leviathan-themed ship from the raid. That would be cool.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, I'm not sad about it. Because, again, all the cosmetic features are pretty much in Eververse, except for shaders, which are just everywhere. I mean, I still don't know how I feel about the shader system, though. I still don't know.
I like the shader system, man.
I mean, it's not... It's just... Because, good God, I definitely have a lot of some shaders. My biggest issue right now is I cannot wait for us to let us mass delete some of these shaders.
Oh, God. Right? Speak the truth, dude. Oh, just let me do stacks at 5.
I know, right? Because there is no way on God's green earth I am sitting here and holding down, like, just to delete all these Avalon teals I've got. I'm not holding this button, like, tapping this button 135 times.
Yeah. I have a lot of them.
I've been able to keep my greens, like, in check, but, do I have anything? No, nothing's that big, but, oh my God, it's like, please, let me get rid of that 134 stack. Let me buy a whole bunch of blue mods.
Mm-hmm.
Because, actually, deleting shaders is a pretty, not really, but it's a source of glimmer. Like, you can get a little, I think it's 100 per green shader. Something like that.
Yeah,
maybe a little more.
And then purples give you bright dust.
Yeah, because, well, most purples come from Eververse.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, I mean, I'm okay with that system because if there's anything that they could take out of the loot pools, it was basically the right thing that they chose. Because Lord forbid they take out a weapon. Oh my gosh, pay to win all over. Oh my God. Like, you get that conversation, man. So, I mean, they took the proper thing out, I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, for certain in-game activities, yes, they could have still had them in places. But, like I said, I'm not sad over it because, I would hope that they would re-add strike-specific loot before a raid-specific sparrow or ship. That would be my hope. Because I am definitely missing strike gear way more than the chance at getting like a ghost drop from a raid. Which I'm wondering if people realize that's where they came from mostly. Raids, trials, in-game activities, banner. Which, I mean, yeah, they could have, like I said, they could have put them back in, but meh, it's alright. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Like I said, my biggest callback right now would definitely be strike-specific loot.
If you can bring back anything, it would be strike-specific,
yeah. Yeah, that would be my biggest, that's my biggest bundle list.
And then
is strike-specific loot right now.
And then it adds to the ornament system.
Exactly.
Some of these strikes have could have some amazing fucking ornaments.
And that's the thing, is, if you don't, because I do heroic strikes, like, to do the Lost Prophecy stuff, and that's basically what's getting me back into doing strikes. Mm. And heroic strikes, you get so much crap from that chest that just vomits all kinds of stuff. You get, like, 8 tokens, something like that, just spewing out, like 6 to 8 tokens or something, just spewing out, and then you get, if unlucky, you get 3 blue drops. But then there's always the possibility of, like, legendary and exotic engrams, which I know isn't a big deal right now, because legendary engrams don't really have anything super interesting, because I feel like the really interesting stuff comes from loot pools, like planetary loot pools, or the gunsmith, or raid or Iron Banner and crap like that. That's like where the most interesting guns are, I feel. Anything you get from an engram is kind of like, and then exotics are just kind of like, bring smart loot back, Bungie, please. Please bring smart exotics back. That would be my number 2, though. If I could have
smart exotics would be your number 2.
Yeah. If I could have like a list of things that I really want, strike specific loot would still be on top. Even though they've said that they're bringing like smart exotics back, strike specific engrams are still like on top, and it will always be. But yeah, that would be actually strike specific engrams or something, or maybe what's her name? Is it Maya? No, not Maya. Hawthorne. Like Hawthorne could handle them, maybe.
Yeah. Give you straight. Yeah.
Like get. I mean, I understand and technically the strike specific loot technically is the Vanguard stuff, because that's the only way to get Vanguard stuff is strike. But I mean, maybe you get like a special token, and then you turn that token into. I don't know. Like, I would like it, but like I said, I do understand like the Vanguard stuff is our strike specific loot, because they've directly connected it. Because before Vanguard stuff was just like your PvE stuff. You get Vanguard reputation from anything you can do, just shooting Fallen or something. But now, this loot, is very specifically to getting Vanguard Tactician tokens. The only way you can get those tokens are strikes. So in a way, our Vanguard loot is our strike specific loot. It's just the fact that we've always seen it. Vanguard gear has always been there. So I can see it. But what I guess if I can like modify, or I want like not just like strike specific, like I say strike specific loot, but I mean if they can give us a game mode that gives us loot like the strike specific loot, like the likes in that sense. But
there was indeed.
It was. But basically, I want the aesthetic that they did go with for the strike specific loot. And what I mean by that is like the Prison of Elders aesthetic. The not the this came from like an earthly vendor or whatever. Like
something that looks different.
The grasp looked like the weapon from Crota's End, basically. Mm-hmm. Or Fallen themed weapons. I'd like that is enemy themed weaponry. Like somehow, like give us like a tower defense game mode, like the one, like the bug in the system mission.
That'd be really.
We could do that, and then you can get these special tokens. You turn these tokens in, and you get like Fallen themed weapons again. Maybe they bring back the old Prison of Elders stuff for us to, or maybe that's what they do with Prison of Elders, is they actually make it a true horde based system now, because they're starting to like tease the outpost, was it? The Reef. There we go. Jesus.
The Reef.
Yeah, the outpost on the Reef. They're starting to tease like that again, like in the Reef. They're starting to tease the Reef again. So I mean, like I said, the Prison of Elders system wasn't bad. I did like the fact that you faced multiple species. Like I said, add like a true horde system, and give us like, because I did always enjoy the enemy themed weapons. The original, or not the original, but what was it? Aegis of Kells, I think, was the pulse rifle.
Yes.
Eye of Judgment, and like scout rifle, crap like that, because it looked like, and you like, yeah, because they were adding chroma to it, and like you get these like fallen like graffiti across it, and like that was just really cool. And that's, I think, what I really miss most in the loot pool is enemy-themed weapons like that. So just, if I could expand it just from just saying strike loot to that specifically, that is definitely my number one. It's like that type of stuff.
And I'm sure it's coming. You can see it with all this, with all the
oh yeah, for sure,
all the special loot. So,
I mean, one thing that's one step in the massively right direction is these lost prop. Like, I may like cry and complain a little bit because they're such a grind, and trust me, they are such a grind. But I love it. I love it. Yeah. And I love the fact that the pulse rifle looks like the strangest rifle. I just love the fact that there's these like hints of connections and such, and it's kind of what Bungie does best, is get you wanting more. And that's essentially what I want, is more. A lot of my criticisms and complaining about this game will basically boil down to the simple sense of I want more. Which is, I think, been our D1 career also. Mm-hmm. I want more.
In general, that's what we want. We want...
Yeah.
Yeah, we want them to go all out. We want to see, like... Bring us fucking fire. Show us the flames. Bring the death. Bring hot liquid fire. Show us what you got. We want to see it. We're with you.
Because they're definitely showing... Like I said, bugging the system shows us that they're definitely getting like their minds around a horde mode. You know, a lot of Crota's Ends encounters and a lot of Prison of Elders came close, but bugging the system was like a really good. It could be a foundation for a good horde game mode. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're showing us that. Like I said, I'm also wondering, like, maybe it's them showing us, like, is this what you want?
This
like,
yeah.
Is this a little more? Maybe here? Okay. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they do bring back the Reef, like, whenever, or something. Like, if Prison of Elders doesn't become more like that mission.
Pull it back, pull it back. Just enough, just enough? Yeah. Okay.
It's like, wait. Like, I'm excited to see the next iteration, because I'm pretty sure it's going to come. I mean, I'm pretty sure. As to when, who knows? Like, it may be next year. You know, it might be the Taken King equivalent of Destiny 2, if there is such a thing as the Taken King equivalent for Destiny 2. I mean, because everything after the Warmind expansion is up in the air. Because, yes, if history tells us anything, then there'll be a Taken King expansion. Or like expansion. But at the same time, the Taken King expansion and how they started to handle content after that was pretty much how they needed to fix things. Mm-hmm. So they needed that to happen. So will we get such an expansion and then like just like very small expansions again? I don't think so. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if like Rush for D1 would come true for D2, and the fact that we get 2 more expansions, like before
the big one.
Like I said, if there even is a big one, yeah. But I wouldn't be surprised if there would be 2 more expansions, because they've already said there's going to be 4 seasons to a year. Do there be 4 expansions? No. I've Curse of Osiris is still putting that nail in the coffin, like just driving it home. They need more time when working on expansions. They really do. And I'm really hoping that they learn this lesson. I would be okay. Like, if they could take the time and make like 2 Rise of Iron sized expansions a year, I'd be okay with that. And still being able to like come out with like whatever D3 will be. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if we can get like 2 of those, like vanilla launch, and then like 6 months later, pretty massive expansion. 6 months later, another pretty massive expansion. I would probably be okay with that. Because that's kind of how they did Rise of Iron to a degree.
Yeah.
Except we didn't have to pay for the other kind of massive boost that they did. I mean, Age of Triumph was like a reworking, so they didn't have a lot to really do. I mean, it was still some work, but I mean, wasn't as much. But then again, like I said, they had a lot of things that they were able to throw at us then. But yeah.
All right, Daz. I guess 2 hours, almost 3 hours of content would bring us right in line to where we always go. So, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
Well, you can find me as usual, all on the Twitters at DES_Raven, which, as always, you can always spark a conversation with me. Come speak. I shall speak.
And you can find me, Buster Knuckle, on Twitter at BusterKnuckle13. That's BusterKnuckle13. You can find this podcast, The RNG Cast, at The RNG Cast on Twitter. You can email us, therngcast@gmail.com, like Laz does. Also, a big thank you to Laz for coming out and
Indeed.
having an hour and a half with us, and then we add another 2.5 hours on top of that. So, hope you enjoyed it when you are driving.
Yeah.
And, if you choose to support us on Patreon, we appreciate it. Patreon.com/therngcast. Anything else, Des? Oh, be good to each other. Don't be a dick. That being said, this is the RNG Cast. We're out.
Later, man.
See you all next week. You know what? Bella was asleep. That's why she didn't bark.